Chapter 1054. A month has passed since the battle for the holy successor of the Namhuang clan. During these days, Qin Wendian spent most of his time roaming around the southern Phoenix immortal city. This ancient city truly broadened his horizons. However, what made Qin Wendian extremely depressed was that Nanfeng Yunshi had yet to come out from the ancestral lands. He was still thinking about the location of the secret art of ancient Emperor God's hand. He was already so powerful after cultivating the elementary level of God's hand. If he could obtain the complete secret art of ancient Emperor his combat prowess would surely be even more terrifying. In the Namhuang clan, in an ancient and majestic building, Qin Wendian, Jun Mingchen and Purgatory walked towards a courtyard. Not long later, they arrived at this place. The sound of a zither could be heard, extremely pleasing to the ears. When the serving girl saw Qin Wendian, she smiled. Young Miss said that Sir Qin can enter directly. There's no need to report your arrival. Many thanks. Qin Wendian smiled at the serving girl. After that, he followed the sound of the zither and entered the courtyard, arriving at a place with beautiful scenery. There was a beautiful maiden sitting in front of a fake mountain in the middle of a pond, playing the zither. The music was beautiful, the maiden was beautiful as well. The scenery was like a painting, causing one to be unable to extricate themselves from it. At this moment, the music stopped. Qin Wendian praised, "Not only is Miss Xinga proficient in calligraphy and painting, your skills in the zither are also superb." So it turned out that this young woman was none other than the holy maiden of the Southern Phoenix clan, Nanfeng Xinga. Back then, after the selection for the holy successor concluded, everyone didn't enjoy the immortal banquet and simply bid their farewells. As protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan, the holy maidens they were protecting didn't manage to obtain the position of the holy successor. They weren't willing to stay for long and had no intention to stay as guests in the Southern Phoenix clan. Only Qin Wendian wanted to wait for Nanfeng Yunshi and would occasionally stay in the Southern Phoenix clan. When Nanfeng Yunshi wasn't around, Nanfeng Xinga was the one to receive him. Nanfeng Xinga was intelligent. She was well-educated and easy to get close to. However, she didn't stay in the Namhuang clan all the time. She would only come back occasionally and spend most of her time in the Southern Phoenix immortal city. Sir Qin praises me too much. Nanfeng Xinga smiled and spoke of love. Although I haven't stayed in the Namhuang clan for a few days, I've seen that Miss Xinga is not only excellent in zither painting, but also elegant in playing the flute. It's also fascinating outside of martial arts. Qin Wendian sincerely praised. Being able to have such attainments in music, Nanfeng Xinga's talent was clear to see. Back then, only she and Namhuang Yunshi were evenly matched. If it wasn't for Kong Yi being defeated by him, it was unknown who would be the victor between Nanfeng Xinga and Namhuang Yunshi. Nanfeng Xinga elegantly smiled. "Sir Qin, are you thinking of Yunshi again? Miss Xinga is making fun of me again." Qin Wendian shrugged. "Generally speaking, how long will the Saintess of Inheritance stay in the ancestral land?" "It's been a month." "Young Master Qin, a day apart feels like 3 autumns." Nanfeng Xinga gently smiled. "However, it shouldn't be too long. Young Master Qin will be able to see Yunshi very soon." Nanfeng Xinga was thinking that since Qin Wendian couldn't bear to leave and wanted to wait for Namhuang Yunshi, there should be some feelings between the two of them. Staring at the smile that was not a smile on her face, Qin Wendian spoke. "Miss Xinga, don't let your thoughts run wild. I really have something to do with Yunshi." "What am I thinking about?" Nanfeng Xinga's eyelashes fluttered. Qin Wendian speechlessly shook his head. This Xinga of the Namhuang clan was originally already as beautiful as a painting. Now, she even had a hint of mischievousness to her. Staring at the speechless expression on Qin Wendian's face, Nanfeng Xinga smiled. "Speaking of which, it's very rare for the holy maiden of my Namhuang clan to roam outside. The majority of her time is spent in the Southern Phoenix immortal city. Hence, the geniuses she knows, other than those she knows in the Southern Phoenix immortal city, would they be in the city of ancient emperors? Yunshi and you got to know each other in the city of ancient emperors. If I got to know you first, would you come here to protect me?" Miss Shinga is beautiful and elegant. If we were friends before, I naturally wouldn't reject you. Qin Wenyan smiled. In that case, thank you. Nanfeng Shinga smiled as though she was very satisfied with Qin Wentian's reply. When Qin Wenyan and Nanfeng Shinga were conversing, outside the Namhuang clan, many figures appeared. These figures came from all directions and were divided into different camps. They directly walked towards the entrance of the Namhuang clan with solemn expressions, as though they had something to do with the Namhuang clan. The guards of the Namhuang clan instantly appeared, blocking the way as they stared at the incoming figures. Who are all of you? Someone asked. These people all exuded extraordinary auras and seemed to be extraordinary characters. Disciples from Zidi's sect are here to pay a visit. One of the guards spoke, his words causing the expressions of the guards to flicker. Zidi was an extremely powerful immortal emperor character. These people were actually from Zidi's sect? Disciples from the Dongxing Heaven Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. Another young man spoke. His gaze was sharp as he stared ahead, causing the guards to feel that something was amiss. Although the Dongxing Heaven Emperor wasn't as famous as Zidi, he was still an immortal emperor and was the one who established the Dongshangshan Gate. Disciples from the Xian Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. Another person spoke. Disciples from the Shao Emperor's sect are here to pay a visit. An expert spoke, causing the expressions of the guards to change. There were actually 4 immortal emperors who came to pay a visit. This wasn't a minor matter. Everyone, please allow me to pass on the message. The guard spoke. After that, he walked towards the Namhuang clan. The people who came were patiently waiting outside. They weren't in a hurry. Not long after, a group of experts arrived. They swept their gazes over the guards and noticed that the strength of these immortal emperors weren't very strong. Clearly, they weren't here for the Namhuang clan. But naturally, if they wanted to target the Namhuang clan, it would only be sufficient if these 4 immortal emperors personally came. We pay our respects to the seniors of the Namhuang clan. The person who came was also very polite, bowing to the Namhuang clan. Young heroes, please enter. The Namhuang clan expert didn't ask anything and directly invited everyone to enter. No matter what purpose these people had, at the very least, the Namhuang clan still had to show the proper etiquette. Instruct our men to prepare the immortal banquet. Someone commanded. A group of people then entered the Namhuang clan. For a major power like the Namhuang clan, how efficient would they be? They only needed a short period of time to prepare the immortal banquet. After everyone was seated, a manager of the Namhuang clan toasted everyone. After that, he asked, I wonder why all the young heroes have come to my Namhuang clan? Senior, may I ask if Qin Wenyan is in the Namhuang clan? A disciple from Zidi's sect asked. The eyes of the Namhuang clan expert flashed. These people were all here for Qin Wenyan. I'm not very sure. Sir Qin is a guest of my Namhuang clan. Maybe he is here. Do you all have any business with him? That person replied. I won't hide it from Senior. Qin Wenyan has something to do with the death of our young master. We wish to bring him back. The disciple from Zidi's sect spoke. The expert from the Namhuang clan frowned. He then glanced at the others and asked, And who are you all? Qin Wenyan killed hundreds of our Dongshangshan Gate's disciples. Our hatred for him is extremely deep. Qin Wenyan killed my younger brother Xian Xing, the son of the Xian Emperor, Xian Yang, personally arrived. Numerous voices rang out. The experts from the Namhuang clan furrowed their brows. These people came at the same time, wanting to interrogate Qin Wenyan, wanting to capture him. How could there be such a coincidence? Also, how vast was the immortal realms? Even to immortal emperors, it was extremely vast. It was impossible for them to know where Qin Wenyan was. There was only one explanation. Someone told them that Qin Wenyan was in the Namhuang clan. At the same time, that person also informed Qin Wentian's enemies. Clearly, that person was very familiar with Qin Wenyan. The experts of the Southern Phoenix clan instantly understood that the person who wanted to harm Qin Wenyan was none other than one of the protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan. In addition, the person who wanted to harm Qin Wenyan was none other than one of the protectors of the Southern Phoenix clan. The eyes of everyone turned to the expert from the Nam Huang clan. However, that Nam Huang clan expert's gaze landed on a person beside him as he asked, "Is Qin Wenin in the clan now?" "He is with Miss Xinge." That person replied in a low voice. "Go and invite Qin Wendian over." That expert instructed another person. That person nodded and departed. Not long after, in Nanfeng Xinge's courtyard, Qin Wendian already knew that the experts from the Four Peak Powers had arrived. His eyes flashed with coldness as he spoke in a low voice. "Seems like I, Qin, have offended someone during the battle for the position of holy successor. How despicable to think of such a method." Jun Mingchen unhappily spoke. Nanfeng Xinge also frowned. After that, she spoke. "Don't worry, the Namhuang clan won't hand Qin Wendian over. I will accompany you to take a look." "Many thanks." Qin Wendian understood Nanfeng Xinge's good intentions. Nanfeng Xinge didn't mind it and smiled. The group of them then headed over together. Not long after, Qin Wendian and Nanfeng Xinge arrived at the banquet. He even saw a few familiar faces. Qin Wendian. Xian Yang's reaction was the greatest. He stood up and coldly stared at Qin Wenin. Beside him, the daughter of the Shao Emperor, Shao Lingyue, was present as well. Her beautiful eyes were similarly cold. Glancing at Nanfeng Xinge, who was beside Qin Wenin, she silently cursed in her heart. Seems like this Qin Wendian lived a comfortable life, never lacking beauties by his side. This Nanfeng Xinge's beauty wasn't in any way inferior to Namhuang Yunxi. She was extremely beautiful. "Everyone, it must have been tough for you all to come here from so far away." Qin Wendian swept his gaze over everyone, his eyes cold. His gaze then landed on a young man. This young man's eyes gleamed with sharpness, exuding a cold intent. "So your cultivation base is so low." Qin Wenin spoke to the young man as a mocking expression appeared on his face. This young man was none other than the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, Dongxing Ting. Dongxing Ting's eyes flashed with coldness. "Your cultivation base is only at the first level of Immortal Foundation. You dare to say that my cultivation base is low? Back then when you were so lofty, staring down at me from the heavens, what cultivation base was I at? Low-level celestial phenomenon? What about now?" Qin Wendian laughed. "In addition, although your cultivation base is higher than mine, I really don't place you, the son of that old dog Eastern sage, in my eyes at all." Rumble! As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, a surge of killing intent gushed forth from Dongxing Ting, exuding an extremely cold aura. Qin Wendian didn't mind it at all as he stared at Dongxing Ting. If it was possible, he wanted nothing more than to kill Dongxing Ting right here and now. Back then, when the Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't care about the lives of the people in his particle world, Qin Wendian had already vowed that he would uproot the Dongshengshan Gate completely. Chapter 1055. Dongxing Ting's eyes were like sharp blades, able to pierce through people. Just like what Qin Wendian said, back then when he and the Dongxing Heaven Emperor came to this particle world to recruit disciples, how could he possibly place this person before him in his eyes? In the eyes of Dongxing Ting, Qin Wendian was merely an ant from a country bumpkin world. Early-stage celestial phenomenon ascendants couldn't even be considered an ant. He could kill Qin Wendian with a wave of his hand and even felt disdain to kill Qin Wendian. At that time, he would never have imagined that Qin Wendian would become his opponent, killing so many experts of his Dongshengshan Gate, refusing to take him as a master, humiliating the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, humiliating the Dongshengshan Gate, killing hundreds of disciples of the Dongshengshan Gate, and even killing a personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. All of these were things he had never imagined. Right now, the Emperor Qianbian was protecting him, and behind him stood the immortal Qianbian Gate. It wouldn't be so easy for them to kill him. This time around, when they came to the Namhuang clan to demand for Qin Wendian actually said that Qin Wendian was the son of that old dog Eastern sage. Senior should have already seen it. This young man's character is extremely bad and he doesn't even have the slightest bit of respect for seniors. I hope that Senior can hand him over to us. Dongxing Ting spoke to the experts of the Namhuang clan. Knowing that Qin Wendian was in the southern Phoenix Immortal City, they could send experts to kill Qin Wenyin. However, in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, the ancient Southern Phoenix clan was akin to gods. Nothing that happened here could be hidden from them. Regardless of whether they killed him openly or in the dark, as long as Qin Wenyin died, they would be able to find out. This was a serious provocation to the Namhuang clan. Many years ago, there was an immortal emperor who relied on his strength to kill an expert in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. After that, this immortal emperor was hunted down by the Namhuang clan and eventually died. This was the rule. If someone disobeyed and did not pursue, then what rules were there to speak of? The rules set by the Namhuang clan in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City were just empty words. The other immortal emperors would follow suit and ignore the rules set by the Namhuang clan. Ever since that incident, no other immortal emperors dared to kill anyone in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. Even the Dongshengshan Gate wouldn't dare to do so. The strength of the Namhuang clan allowed the Southern Phoenix Immortal City to flourish, becoming one of the safest cities in the immortal realms. That was why they came to ask for him. If it wasn't for the fact that the Namhuang clan had existed for countless years, they would have assassinated him directly. Young Master Qin is our Namhuang clan's guest. Even before the expert from the Namhuang clan spoke, Nanfeng Xinge already interjected, causing Dong Xingting to glance at her. This sentence was undoubtedly meant to help Qin Wenyin. If not, there was no reason for her to speak before an elder. Qin Wenyin naturally understood Nanfeng Xinge's good intentions. This is... Dong Xingting smiled. Nanfeng Xinge. Oh, so it's Holy Maiden. Dong Xingting smiled and nodded, being extremely polite. Young Master Dongxing is too polite. Nanfeng Xinge returned the greeting. My young master Zidaoyang's death caused Zidi to be enraged. I hope that Senior can understand Zidi's feelings. This man's death concerns the life of my young master. Senior, can you allow me to bring him away? Zidi will definitely be grateful to the Namhuang clan. An expert from Zidi's sect spoke. He spoke before the Namhuang clan's experts expressed their stance. Clearly, he wanted to exert some pressure. Zidi was a peak-stage immortal emperor character and was extremely powerful. The Namhuang clan could ignore the Xian emperor and the Shao emperor, but the Namhuang clan still had to consider Zidi's feelings. Everyone, you are really making things difficult for me. That expert bitterly smiled and shook his head. You are all from the sects of immortal emperors. Logically speaking, I shouldn't reject your request. But just like what Xinge has said, Qin Wenyin is after all a guest of my Namhuang clan. If I hand him over to you guys, how would the people of the immortal realms view my Namhuang clan? His words were already considered a rejection. Qin Wenyin laughed at this moment. He stared at Zidi's followers as he coldly spoke. I, Qin, have also heard of the name Zidi of the immortal realms. However, hearing is just hearing about him. I'm extremely disappointed when I actually came into contact with him. Zi Daoyang fought a fair battle against me and was injured. After that, he was assassinated by someone and Zidi actually vented his anger on me. Zidi's magnanimity is merely SOSO. The cause of Daoyang Gige's death is still unknown. We still don't know what role you played in it. Daoyang Gige's talent is extraordinary, but since he died in the city of ancient emperors, you won't be able to shirk your responsibility. Xiao Lingyue coldly spoke. Qin Wendian swept his gaze over. His piercing gaze seemed to be able to penetrate through the hearts of people, staring at Xiao Lingyue. Xiao Lingyue actually didn't dare to meet his eyes. I spared your life so many times, yet you are still fanning the flames. Your cultivation base doesn't seem to have any improvement, only knowing how to seduce others with your beauty. You still dare to call yourself a genius? Xiao Lingyue, you are truly despicable enough. Qin Wendian impolitely spoke. It was extremely rare for him to humiliate a woman like this. However, this Xiao Lingyue, he didn't spare her just once. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, Xiao Lingyue had provoked him many times and he couldn't be bothered to be calculative with her. However, this woman actually didn't give up. She even wanted to borrow Zidi's hand to take his life. Xiao Lingyue was so angered by Qin Wendian's insults that her chest heaved up and down. She could originally be considered a heaven chosen in the city of ancient emperors, but ever since she met this baleful star, Qin Wenyan, it was like a heart demon was born. As long as Qin Wenyan didn't die, it would be hard for her to resolve this heart demon. What about me? Qin Wenyan laughed. He then turned his gaze to Xianyang as he spoke. Don't forget how your younger brother died. Back in the city of ancient emperors, you wanted me dead at every turn, and in the end, you were too useless and even dared to come to the Namhuang clan to demand for my release. Just based on you, Xianyang, you aren't much weaker compared to Shaolin Yue. I can squash you to death with a single hand. Don't forget that when you were ranked number 4 in the Immortal Ascension rankings, my cultivation base was only at the 7th level. How impudent! The subordinates of the Xian Emperor stared at Qin Wenyan. Their voices were like ice. This fellow actually dared to be so arrogant even when facing the subordinates of 4 immortal emperors? He was simply lawless, completely not putting them in his eyes. Qin Wenyan snorted. He swept his gaze over everyone as he continued. Since everyone came from afar and came to the Namhuang clan to take my life, things are simple. Let's follow the rules of the Namhuang clan. Whoever wishes to ascend the Southern Phoenix Arena, regardless of life or death, can challenge me. I can fight continuously, and I can even give you a handicap of 1 or 2 levels. Even 3rd-level Immortal Foundation experts are allowed to challenge me. I will accept all challenges. Fight or not? Qin Wenyan abruptly roared, causing everyone to lift their heads in shock. They saw a cold arrogance flickering in Qin Wenyan's eyes, as well as a terrifying killing intent. It was like they weren't the ones who came here to kill Qin Wenyan, but Qin Wenyan was the one who wanted to kill them. Qin Wenyan naturally had reason to be angry. Which of the 4 immortal emperors didn't bully others? Back then, the younger one was the one who bullied others and was killed by him. Now, the older one was here to demand for his release. Fine, since this is the case, let's be more direct and kill them one by one. In any case, he would temporarily stay in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. He wanted to see how these people would destroy him. Do you dare to fight? Qin Wenyan saw that no one replied. He then roared again. If you don't dare, then all of you scram back to where you came from. The faces of the 4 immortal emperors have all been thrown away. Dongshengting, didn't you always view me as an ant? Do you dare to ascend the Phoenix Arena with me? Gotcha! The wine cup in Dongshengting's hand directly shattered. If it was in the past, he would definitely fight without hesitation. But before he came to the Namhuang clan, he heard a piece of bad news. Qin Wenyan had helped Namhuang Yunshi to seize the position of Holy Successor. And for the other Holy Successor characters who were competing against Namhuang Yunshi, Kong Yi and Jiang Ziyu were their allies. This caused them to have no choice but to speculate about Qin Wenyan's combat prowess. Dong Shengting was someone with an extraordinary status. He didn't want to fail miserably. This madman Qin Wenyan actually dared to kill Kei Tianyi and annihilate the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate, forming a deep grudge with the Dongshengshan Gate. If Dong Shengting really found an opportunity, he would definitely kill him. Although Dong Shengting was very confident in his own strength, he was also very cautious. He felt that his life was extremely precious. Since Qin Wenyan has already spoken, I have no objections. If all of you can kill Qin Wenyan on the Phoenix Arena, my Namhuang clan will have no objections as well. What do you all think? An expert from the Namhuang clan took the opportunity to speak. He wanted to see how these immortal emperors would react to Qin Wenyan's arrogance. Fine, let the Phoenix Arena battle begin then. An expert from Zidi's sect coldly spoke. A moment later, that expert from the Namhuang clan stood up and spoke. I will personally prepare for the battle on the Phoenix Arena for all of you. Please. After speaking, he stepped out as everyone followed after him. Not long later, they arrived before a gigantic arena belonging to the Namhuang clan. Nanfeng Xinge and Jun Mingchen stood beside Qin Wenyan only to hear Nanfeng Xinge reminding them, be careful. Since we agreed to fight on the Phoenix Arena, we can use any methods, including immortal ranked weapons. Remember not to be careless. Qin Wenyan nodded lightly to Nanfeng Xinge, indicating that he understood. The Phoenix Arena required the agreement of both parties before one could fight on it. Once both parties agreed, it meant that there was no way to resolve the conflict. Since both parties agreed to a life-and-death battle, there was no longer any need to talk about fairness. Since both parties were willing to fight, any methods could be used as long as they could kill the other party. The disciple from Zidi's sect transmitted his voice to someone beside him. That person nodded and stepped out. Coldly, he glanced at Qin Wenyin as a terrifying killing intent flickered in his eyes. His cultivation base was at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. Qin Wenyin and that person both walked up the arena and activated the light screen. Instantly, the shadow of an ancient phoenix enveloped the entire arena, signifying that the battle could begin. Rumble! A terrifying sense of danger instantly locked onto Qin Wenyin. Fast, too fast. The moment his opponent attacked, it was already a sure kill move. His silhouette directly vanished from sight as a terrifying killing intent bore down on Qin Wenyin, so fast that even Immortal Foundation experts had no time to react. Bang! A deafening sound of collision rang out. Powerful runic light circulated around him as a sword light appeared, accompanied by a drop of fresh blood. From the start till the end, Qin Wenyin stood there unmoving. The demon sword had already pierced into his opponent's throat. Shameless! Dong Shengting coldly spoke. At the instant the battle started, Qin Wenyin actually detonated a defensive immortal talisman. He had long been prepared and was waiting for his opponent to unleash a sure kill attack. By using the talisman to block it, he would be able to easily kill his opponent. Qin Wenyin slowly pulled out the demon sword as his cold eyes stared downwards. On the Phoenix Arena, everyone was using all sorts of methods to kill their opponent. What shamelessness was this? Chapter 1056. In the immortal realms, to those with extraordinary statuses, they would naturally disdain to use such defensive immortal talismans. Their status was the first layer of protection, and they would also have the protective immortal sense of their elders protecting them. If that wasn't enough to protect their life, defensive immortal talismans were basically useless. In addition, these defensive immortal talismans that could withstand the attacks of Immortal Foundation experts weren't cheap at all. Only stellar martial cultivators who had no background and had to depend on themselves would be willing to exchange for some to protect themselves. Qin Wenyin actually used one. Qin Wenyin had already exchanged for some of these defensive immortal talismans when he saw them in the southern Phoenix Immortal City. He was different from Dong Shengting and Zi Daoyang. He still had to rely on himself and had many enemies. It was better for him to be more cautious when tempering himself outside. There was no need to fear having too many life-saving methods. In any case, although he wasn't considered very wealthy, he wasn't poor either. He could borrow the power of the immortal weapons in the Drift Snow City and forge one at any time. It was just that Qin Wenyin didn't expect that he would be put to use so quickly. When he heard Nanfeng Xingge's warning, he knew that once the battle started, Dong Xingting would instantly kill him. Hence, he didn't hesitate and crushed a defensive immortal talisman to block his opponent's attack. At the same time, he used the demon sword seizing life, moving as fast as lightning. Qin Wenyan's gaze landed on Dong Xingting as he spoke. What a pitiful man! The son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor doesn't even have the courage to fight. Rumble! Dong Xingting's aura erupted forth as he walked towards the Phoenix Arena. His patience had already reached its limit. However, the person beside him pulled his arm and transmitted his voice. Your Highness, this man is extremely sinister and ruthless. He has already formed a grudge with 4 immortal emperors and is extremely crafty. You have to guard against him. Dong Xingting's countenance was ice cold. If Qin Wenyin could hear the voice transmission earlier, he would definitely be laughing uproariously. Dong Xingting didn't dare to fight against him, yet his opponent actually thought of such an excuse? Was he extremely sinister and ruthless? Ling, go and kill him. That expert spoke to a person beside Dong Xingting. The countenance of that person flickered as he nodded and walked towards the Phoenix Arena. This expert named Ling walked up the Phoenix Arena. The might of his immortal foundation erupted forth as a raging wind gusted by. An immortal ranked weapon appeared in his hand, It was a feather fan. Immortal energy gushed forth as he infused it. The feather fan in his hand suddenly expanded in size, transforming into a hurricane that could lacerate everything as it blasted towards Qin Wenin. That terrifying immortal law energy caused ear-piercing screeches as it tore through the air. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation erupted forth as runic light circulated around him. His body was like that of a fiend god, unshakable. He stood there arrogantly as an immortal light screen appeared around him, enveloping him within. However, the power of the fan grew more and more violent, unceasingly slamming into the light screen, causing cracks to appear on it. The incomparably powerful force caused Qin Wentian to retreat. Buzz! His opponent directly vanished from sight. In an instant, a silhouette appeared. The fan directly slammed into the light screen and actually broke it apart. An indomitable force swept towards Qin Wentian's neck, wanting to reap his life in a single strike. The demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand hummed as a terrifying demonic qi erupted forth from it. There seemed to be the shadow of a great rock within. This sword strike had been accumulating power for a long time, and right now as it swept out, a terrifying sword scar appeared in the air, slashing apart everything. Terrifying immortal energy clashed against each other as both of them instantly retreated. That expert moved with extreme speed, fusing with the law energy of the wind and moving with the wind. His silhouette flickered in the air above the Phoenix Arena. His silhouette was ethereal and it was hard to track him down. Qin Wentian stood there with his sword in his hand. His eyes were closed as the power of his immortal foundation gushed forth in all directions, creating a terrifying sword tempest. Buzz! After a few probing attacks, an attack that could sever everything gushed forth from behind Qin Wentian, aiming straight for Qin Wentian's head. That feather fan transformed into an invincible immortal weapon, gleaming with a terrifying golden luster. It was even sharper than a sharp blade. Every feather on the fan was as sharp as an immortal sword, slashing towards Qin Wentian's head. A sever character appeared in the air, exuding boundless might. Roar! A deafening roar suddenly burst out. Huge and terrifying divine elephants appeared in the sky, suppressing everything. The entire space seemed to have stopped at this moment. The cultivator who was charging at Qin Wentian felt that he had fallen into a supreme suppressive force at this moment. His body was extremely stiff, and it was difficult for him to attack. No! A terrifying beam of sword light slashed over. That cultivator howled in rage as his sword slashed out. From the bottom to the top, a straight line of blood appeared. His body fell from the air as he was killed. Qin Wentian walked to the side of his opponent and took his immortal-ranked weapon and interspatial ring. These were the spoils of war that belonged to the victor. How could he be polite? Sword qi gushed forth, enveloping the cultivator's body. In an instant, the cultivator's body vanished into thin air. Not a single trace of him was left behind. Who else? Qin Wentian stared at the experts from the four immortal emperors below. His countenance was as cold as ever. Since all of them wanted his life, why would he be polite? He would kill each of them. Although this wouldn't be able to cause any serious injuries to the four immortal emperors, at the very least, he wanted to tell them that if they wanted Qin Wentian's life, they would have to pay a price. After that, several more experts walked up to the Phoenix Arena. Without any accidents, all of them died in the hands of Qin Wentian. No matter what methods they used, Qin Wentian seemed to be able to deal with them. At the most crucial moment, he would deal a fatal blow, killing all the experts from the four immortal emperors. It was as though he knew that ordinary third-level Immortal Foundation experts wouldn't be able to kill Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's combat prowess had far surpassed their expectations. Senior, this one bids my farewell. At this moment, Zidi's followers clasped their hands to the experts from the Namhuang clan as they spoke. That expert from the Namhuang clan asked, "Are you all not going to stay in the Namhuang clan for a few days?" "No need, we will pay a visit again if there's a chance." Zidi's followers shook their heads and smiled. After that, they excused themselves. Dong Xingting coldly glanced at Qin Wentian as he spoke. "I will let you be arrogant for a few more days. I will definitely take your life." "Coward!" Qin Wenyan only spat out a single word, his words filled with humiliation. Dong Shengting was so angered that his body trembled. He flicked his sleeves and snorted coldly as he turned and departed, radiating a terrifying killing intent. If the old dog asks, remember to help me tell him that his life is mine. I, Qin Wenyan, will take it sooner or later. Qin Wenyan icily spoke. Dong Shengting stretched his hand out and grabbed towards the side. A thunderous boom rang out as a gigantic boulder shattered into pieces. Also, trash like you actually dared to have delusional thoughts about Qin? Even a crow wants to climb up to the phoenix? How pathetic. Qin Wenyan spoke again, returning the humiliation Dong Shengting gave him back to Dong Shengting in the past. His immortal sense could clearly see that Dong Shengting's handsome countenance was contorted, filled with a malevolent killing intent. An ant-like character back then actually dared to use the same method he used back then to humiliate him. Dong Shengting's killing intent towards Qin Wenyan had already climbed to the extreme. Most probably, as long as there's a chance, Dong Shengting would definitely kill him. Qin Wenyan walked down the Phoenix Arena. Staring at the departing silhouettes, Nan Fengshengge spoke in a light voice. These people came prepared. Although the Namhuang clan didn't succeed, they wouldn't give up so easily. I'm afraid they would choose to remain in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. Don't worry, as long as they are in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, no one would dare to act recklessly. Even someone as strong as Zidi would have to consider the consequences before acting recklessly. An elder of the Namhuang clan spoke. Many thanks, Senior. Qin Wenyan thanked. No wonder the Taishan Immortal King under Emperor Qianbian supported him to come to the Southern Phoenix Immortal City. This city was truly different from the rest. Don't worry about it, this is what we should do. You protected Namhuang Yunshi and helped her to become the holy successor. If the Namhuang clan handed you all over, wouldn't our Namhuang clan become a laughingstock? That old man coldly snorted. To think that they could even think of this. Most probably, Zidi is too arrogant and thinks that his face is big enough. Is Zidi very strong? Qin Wenyan asked. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor, the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor added together wouldn't be able to match up to Zidi. The immortal emperors under Zidi are all characters on the same level as the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor. Zidi is truly a character with great ambitions. The elder of the Namhuang clan spoke. Qin Wenyan nodded lightly. There were naturally differences in strength among immortal emperors. For example, back then during the Particle War, the white-robed immortal king, Bai Wuya, alone was able to turn the tides of the war. However, since you are being watched by the disciples of the four immortal emperors, you have to be more cautious. They wouldn't dare to act in the Southern Phoenix Immortal City, but once you leave the city, don't reveal your whereabouts. Although your combat prowess is strong, if they send immortal kings to act, they would be able to kill you instantly. The elder reminded. Junior understands. Qin Wenyan nodded. At this moment, a voice drifted over from the depths of the Namhuang clan. This voice was the sound of a bell. That elder turned his head and stared in the direction of the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan. He smiled and spoke to Qin Wenyan. Namhuang Yunshi has exited her seclusion. Let's go and take a look. She finally exited? Qin Wenyan's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Chapter 1057. Outside the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan, many elders of the Namhuang clan had arrived. When Qin Wenyan arrived, Namhuang Yunshi was surrounded by the crowd, surrounded by a middle-aged couple. The man exuded a sense of gentleness, while the woman exuded a dignified aura, exuding a sense of nobility and elegance. She was like a sister to Namhuang Yunshi, but she was actually Namhuang Yunshi's mother. Ha, Yunshi, very good performance. An old man laughed. This old man was someone of the grandfatherly generation of Namhuang Yunshi. Namhuang Yunshi was able to become the holy successor and have the power to contend against the Southern Phoenix matriarch. She would be heavily nurtured by the Namhuang clan. They were naturally very happy. Her cultivation base actually broke through to the second level of Immortal Foundation. Qin Wenyan stared at the beautiful woman in the middle of the crowd. Her aura changed slightly, becoming even more beautiful and holy. The path to Immortal Foundation was extremely difficult. One had to walk step by step, and it was very difficult to break through in a short period of time. Only those ancient clans with countless years of inheritances would be able to pass down their inheritance, allowing them to increase their cultivation base faster. For those who became the holy successor, they would only have a single chance to receive the inheritance from the ancestral lands. With the inheritance of the phoenix, their strength would naturally increase tremendously. Other than this, for such powerful clans, as long as one became a core character, they would have access to many secret arts and cultivation resources. It would be much faster to raise their cultivation base compared to trying to figure things out by themselves. Hence, being born into such a clan was undoubtedly akin to being born with a golden spoon in your mouth. Namhuang Yunshi and the others returned the greeting. After that, her gaze landed on Qin Wenyin as she smiled. In front of Qin Wenyin, she no longer had the cold arrogance she had back then in the city of ancient emperors. Her smiling eyes were filled with gentleness, exuding a different kind of beauty. Namhuang Yunshi walked to Qin Wenyin and smiled. This time around, it's all thanks to you. You and I are people who fought side by side in the city of ancient emperors. Is there still a need to thank me? Qin Wenyin laughed. Qin Wenyin, this might not mean much to you, but for Namhuang Yunshi, becoming the saintess of inheritance is a very important experience in her life. We want to thank you as well. Namhuang Yunshi's father said to Qin Wenyin with a hearty smile. Qin Wenyin, if you encounter any difficulties in the future, you can come to us. Namhuang Yunshi's mother also said with a smile. Qin Wenyin nodded and said, Okay, I will accept your gratitude. Just call us uncle and auntie. There's no need to call us seniors. It's too distant, said Namhuang Yunshi's father. Uncle auntie. Qin Wenyin was a straightforward person and wouldn't be bothered by the small details. He and Namhuang Yunshi were friends, and it wasn't too much for him to refer to Namhuang Yunshi's parents as uncle and auntie. Yunshi, we are preparing to hold a celebration for you. What do you think? At this moment, an elder from the Namhuang clan spoke. However, Namhuang Yunshi smiled and shook her head. Yunshi has just become the holy successor, her cultivation base is still low. Her future path is still very long. Elders, please don't place Yunshi on a pedestal too high. If not, things would be bad if Yunshi becomes arrogant and complacent in the future. Yunshi is right. Elders, please don't spoil her too much. She still has a long way to go if she wants to ascend to the throne of the Empress. She still has a long way to go. She still needs to follow her heart step by step. Namhuang Yunshi's father nodded and said bluntly about ascending to the throne of the Empress. This wasn't a taboo in the Namhuang clan. As long as one was the holy successor, they would be qualified to inherit the throne of the Empress. They could say it openly, and it was also a form of encouragement for the holy successor. You guys are exaggerating. You're exaggerating. But since it's Yunshi's idea, we won't force her. Yunshi's new residence has been prepared. We will officially rename the former Jiue Palace to Yunshi Palace. This palace will be your palace from now on. In addition, the other saintesses of this generation will be your protectors and accompany you as you grow. They will be your helpers in the future. You must treat them well. You can go now. The old man spoke. Namhuang Yunshi's expression also turned solemn. At the instant she became the holy successor, she knew that many things had changed. For the past 100 years, the 30-plus holy successors were all competitors, vying for the position of the holy successor. But once the holy successor appeared, the other holy successors would become her protectors, accompanying her as she grew up, becoming an important pillar of support for her in the future. The current Southern Phoenix matriarch, the holy successors who were her protectors back then, were now all extremely powerful and could be considered the vanguard troops of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Qin Wenyin felt extremely shocked in his heart when he heard this. The holy successors would act as protectors for Namhuang Yunshi? Was this the status of the holy successor? Jiue Palace. Namhuang Yunshi mumbled in a low voice. Her gaze was somewhat misty. Nanfeng Jiue is a legendary character of our Namhuang clan. Yunshi, this is the hope we have for you. Don't disappoint the clan. The old man solemnly spoke. Namhuang Yunshi nodded solemnly. Nanfeng Jiue, this name was once incomparably glorious in the Namhuang clan. Even in the immortal realms, she was extremely famous. Let's go. The old man spoke. After that, everyone moved out. Namhuang Yunshi smiled at Qin Wenin. Come with me. Sure, I also want to see the glory of the holy successor. Qin Wentian joked. Namhuang Yunshi rolled her eyes. Who is Nanfeng Jiue? Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to Namhuang Yunshi, feeling somewhat curious. Nanfeng Jiue is a legendary character of our Namhuang clan. She is also the holy successor and rose up in the immortal realms in a dazzling manner. When she was at her peak, there weren't many in the vast immortal realms who could match up to her. This lasted until one time when our Namhuang clan faced a calamity. A devil lord from the myriad devil islands coveted us and said that he wanted to abduct the southern phoenix matriarch as well as the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. This devil lord's infamy towered up into the heavens and his power was immense. He gathered all the devil sects and started a war against the Namhuang clan, abducting many holy maidens. Nanfeng Jiue took the initiative to fight and killed her way into the myriad devil islands, using a heaven-defying method to send the holy maidens out. At the same time, she used her own strength to fight against many supreme experts from the myriad devil islands. The myriad devil islands are a place where immortal emperors are forbidden to enter. Let alone the fact that Nanfeng Jiue went there to fight. She was surrounded by many devils, but she relied on her overwhelming strength to kill the devil lord who abducted the holy maidens, killing several devil emperors before she died on the myriad devil islands. Qin Wentian's expression turned solemn. When he heard Namhuang Yunshi's voice transmission, a scene of a peerlessly beautiful maiden slaughtering her way into the myriad devil islands appeared in his mind. Slaughtering her way into the myriad devil islands? Was it worth it? Nanfeng Jiue was a little too impulsive. Qin Wentian sighed. Sometimes, for such supreme characters, they simply depend on their aura. At that time, my Namhuang clan was being watched by the entire immortal realms. The holy maidens were abducted. It was a great humiliation and there had to be someone who stood out. Even if Nanfeng Jiue didn't step out, the Namhuang clan would still act. How arrogant was Nanfeng Jiue? In a fit of rage, she killed her way into the myriad devil islands. Although Nanfeng Jiue died in that battle, her actions shocked the entire immortal realms. From then on, the devil lords of the myriad devil islands no longer dared to provoke my Namhuang clan. Namhuang Yunshi's heart was filled with longing. Qin Wenin also felt respect for the Nanfeng Jiue that Namhuang Yunshi spoke of. Just like what Namhuang Yunshi said, there were some things that you had to do even if you knew it was impossible. Qin Wentian had also done similar things before. This was the strength of a supreme genius. Sadly, I can't personally witness her glory. Qin Wentian sighed. He faintly understood the words of the ancient phoenix back then. In the immortal realms, even the strongest ancient clan would feel a sense of danger. It's truly a pity. Back then, everyone in the Namhuang clan felt that if Nanfeng Jiue didn't die, there was a very high possibility that she would be the next matriarch of our Namhuang clan. Namhuang Yunshi also sighed. As they spoke, they already arrived at a majestic ancient palace. Outside this ancient palace, there was a statue of a female that exuded boundless magnificence. This was none other than Nanfeng Jiue, a heaven's chosen of a generation. The Namhuang clan built a statue of her and erected a monument for her. Everyone landed on the ground and bowed to Nanfeng Jiue's statue. Even those experts of the older generation of the Namhuang clan did the same. Qin Wenin could sense the respect these people of the Namhuang clan had for this deceased person. Qin Wenin also stood before the statue and bowed deeply, reminiscing about the past. I have a request. Don't change the name of the Jiue Palace to Yunshi Palace. Everything must remain the same. Namhuang Yunshi spoke. Usually, when a new holy successor moved in, the name of the ancient palace would be changed to the name of the new holy successor. Sure. The elder of the Namhuang clan decisively agreed without any hesitation. He felt gratified that Nam Huang Yunshi could take the initiative to make this request. Let's enter. Nam Huang Yunshi walked towards the ancient palace, her heart filled with boundless yearning. She hoped that one day, she would be able to have Nanfeng Jiue's magnificence and become the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan. The Jiue palace was extremely vast, exuding an air of elegance. Everyone moved forward step by step. Nam Huang Yunshi walked up to a tall platform while the other members of the Nam Huang clan stood in front of it, silently observing. Although the Nam Huang clan refused to celebrate, some basic rituals still had to be carried out. Sir Qin, I will have to trouble you to take care of me in the future. Nanfeng Xinge laughed in a low voice beside Qin Wenyin. After that, she stepped out. Not only her, Qin Wenyin also saw many other holy maidens appearing on the platform, surrounding Nam Huang Yunshi. Nam Huang Yunshi was the leader, including the arrogant Nanfeng Aoshue. From now onwards, they would stay together with Nam Huang Yunshi in the Jiue Palace. No matter if they were convinced or not, they had to obey. This was the rule of the Nam Huang clan. If they weren't convinced, they could work harder to cultivate faster, forever being ahead of Nam Huang Yunshi. At the same time, their existence would spur Nam Huang Yunshi to never fall behind. She was the holy successor. Other than the holy maidens, numerous experts appeared below the platform, including some extremely powerful immortal kings. They were all chosen by the Nam Huang clan to guard the Jiue Palace, to protect Nam Huang Yunshi. From now onwards, Nam Huang Yunshi would be the new master of the Jiue Palace. The holy maidens would act as her protectors, as well as the immortal kings. She was the holy successor, the successor of the Southern Phoenix matriarch. Qin Wenyin stared at the platform, at the incomparably majestic Nam Huang Yunshi at this moment. A radiant smile appeared in his eyes. He was happy for Nam Huang Yunshi. No wonder all the holy maidens would do their best to fight for the position of holy successor. This was glory, status, authority, and also the future. Chapter 1058. After the ceremony, the people of the Nam Huang clan departed, leaving behind only the holy maidens and the guards the Nam Huang clan had assigned to Nam Huang Yunshi. Naturally, there were also Qin Wenyin, Jun Mengchen, and Purgatory. Nam Huang Yunshi's parents also departed after leaving some instructions. After Nam Huang Yunshi became the holy successor, she was no longer just the pearl in their palms. She would carve out her own future in the Nam Huang clan and become the mistress of the Jiue ancient palace. Nam Huang Yunshi stared at the holy maidens beside her and smiled. In the future, Yunshi will have to depend on all of you sisters. Yunshi, I will continue to work hard in my cultivation. I won't fall behind you. Nanfeng Aoshue was still brooding over her failure to become the holy successor. She was the strongest among the holy maidens of this generation, but in the end, the one with the lowest cultivation base, Nam Huang Yunshi, became the holy successor. In that case, Sister Aoshue has to work hard. Nanfeng Yunshi didn't mind it as she laughed. Qin Wenyin was truly unhappy with Nanfeng Aoshue. She had already been defeated, yet her tone was still so arrogant. If Nanfeng Yunshi had the same bearing as her, she would have countless methods to make it so that Nanfeng Aoshue would never be able to lift her head again. Yunshi, there's no need to be so polite. In the future, all of us sisters will listen to your commands. We still need you to take good care of us. Nanfeng Xinge gently smiled. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled. After that, she spoke, I'm going out for a while. Xinge, come with me. Nanfeng Xinge smiled and nodded. Nam Huang Yunshi then walked towards her guards and spoke to them. A moment later, 3 of them obeyed. After doing this, Nam Huang Yunshi walked to the side of Qin Wenyin and asked, Shall we move out? You just joined the Jiue ancient palace? Qin Wenyin asked. Now that I'm done with my business, it's time to start working on yours. Nam Huang Yunshi smiled and stepped out first. Nanfeng Xinge walked to the side of Qin Wenyin and winked at him before following behind Nam Huang Yunshi. Qin Wenyin shrugged and said, Let's go. Then he, Jun Mingchen and the other 2 followed them, leaving all the saintesses confused. Nam Huang Yunshi wanted to help Qin Wenyin with what? Could it be that when Qin Wenyan helped Nam Huang Yunqi to seize the position of the Saintess of Inheritance, they had reached some kind of agreement? They were all very curious in their hearts, but they had no way to find out. Nam Huang Yunqi only chose to bring Nanfeng Xingge along. Sister Aoshue, don't speak to Yunqi like this in the future. After all, we are now Yunqi's Dao protectors. If Yunqi intentionally targets you, I'm afraid the cultivation resources of the Namhuang clan would have nothing to do with you. If you truly have the heart, just work hard in your cultivation. Nanfeng Qingrua smiled at Nanfeng Aoshue. After that, she didn't wait for Nanfeng Aoshue's reply and turned to leave. It's naturally not so easy to change one's identity. However, the winner is the king and the loser is the villain. The Namhuang clan has been selecting the elites for countless years. Since you lost, you have to accept the truth. Don't forget the mistakes of your predecessors. Nanfeng Qingrua's voice drifted over, causing Nanfeng Aoshue to frown. The other holy maidens also sighed in their hearts. What Nanfeng Qingrua said was right, it was naturally not easy to change one's identity. But who asked them to be the losers? The identity of a holy protector was also a test for those who failed. On the streets of the southern Phoenix Immortal City, a group of extraordinary silhouettes were strolling about, attracting the attention of many. This group of men and women was extraordinary with just a single glance. The men were handsome while the women were extremely beautiful. It was a sight to behold. Where are we going? Qin Wendian asked. There's a place in the southern regions named the God Hand Mountain Manor. The master of the mountain manor is an immortal emperor with supreme archery skills. His title is Emperor Yu, and he rarely interferes with the affairs of the immortal realms. He is a solitary cultivator and would often roam around the immortal realms, exuding a mysterious aura as though he stands aloof from worldly affairs. The mountain manor has also accepted many disciples, and Emperor Yu has guided many outstanding geniuses in archery, but he doesn't accept any disciples. Many people in the southern regions feel that Emperor Yu is a good person, and because of his high cultivation base, very few people would dare to disturb his peaceful cultivation. Namhuang Yunqi slowly spoke. This time around, we are heading to the God Hand Mountain Manor. God Hand Mountain Manor? Qin Wendian mumbled. God's Hand, God Hand Mountain Manor. Was this really a coincidence? Seems like this wasn't the case. Emperor Yu of the God Hand Mountain Manor most probably had a deep relationship with ancient Emperor Yi. Nanfeng Xingge felt somewhat bewildered when she heard this. Her beautiful eyes roamed over to Qin Wenyan and Namhuang Yunqi. Why did they want to go to the God Hand Mountain Manor? However, Qin Wenyan naturally understood. Most probably, the complete version of God's Hand was in the God Hand Mountain Manor. The Phoenix ancestor told me that everyone thought that ancient Emperor Yi was only proficient in God's Hand because God's Hand could transform into a myriad of abilities, concealing ancient Emperor Yi's other abilities. But in truth, when ancient Emperor Yi was young, his archery skills were extremely powerful. Namhuang Yunqi transmitted her voice to Qin Wendian, her words causing Qin Wendian's eyes to flash. The Phoenix ancestor was as expected of an old monster that had lived for countless years. She even knew about this. Most probably, this had something to do with the fact that ancient Emperor Yi lived in the southern regions of the immortal realms. At this moment, a few hundred miles away from Qin Wendian and Namhuang Yunqi, in an inn in the southern Phoenix Immortal City, an extraordinarily handsome figure was sitting cross-legged. His eyes were closed and his ears were perked up. There seemed to be a formless energy gushing forth from his ears, transforming into sound waves that allowed him to hear everything in the surroundings. In fact, there were even faint golden Buddhic runes flashing by his ears. The eyes of this figure opened, gleaming with a bright light as a hint of a smile could be seen in his deep and mysterious eyes. God's Hand, God Hand Mountain Manor. Emperor Yi, Emperor Yi. I truly didn't expect this. The young man mumbled in a low voice. After which, he spoke, "Come in." As the sound of his voice faded, a figure appeared in the courtyard. The figure stared at the young man and greeted, "Young Master Yu." So it turned out that this young man was none other than Jiang Ziyu, a heaven chosen from one of the three ancient clans of the Namhuang clan. He had once fought against Qin Wendian and wasn't at a disadvantage. His combat prowess was extremely powerful and mysterious. Inform the clan that Emperor Yu has a connection with Emperor Yi. There's a high possibility that the God Hand Mountain Manor has the secret art of Emperor Yi. A faint smile appeared on Jiang Ziyu's face as he commanded. Yes. The eyes of that expert flashed with surprise. Young Master Yu was actually able to obtain such news? When he thought of how powerful Jiang Ziyu was, his heart trembled. Right now in the entire Jiang clan, there were only a handful of immortal foundation geniuses that could be mentioned in the same breath as young Master Yu. Jiang Ziyu was the most outstanding heavens chosen of the Jiang clan in the past few hundred years. In the future, he would definitely have great accomplishments. Many people only knew that his eyes were powerful, but they didn't know that his ears were as well. Only the members of the Jiang clan knew how powerful the ultimate arts of the Jiang clan were. That expert prepared to leave only to hear Jiang Ziyu interjected, "Hold on. Does young master you have any other instructions?" That person asked, only to see a mysterious smile on Jiang Ziyu's face as he continued, "Help me inform the people from the 4 great powers. Tell them to pay a price in exchange for this information. Remember, the price must be high. After you obtain it, spread the news to all the major powers." The eyes of that expert flashed. He didn't understand why Jiang Ziyu would do this. "Just do as I say." Jiang Ziyu waved his hands, not going back on his words. Since he has decided on something, he only needed to execute it. That person retreated. He understood what he had to do. Jiang Ziyu was truly ruthless. In this case, the major powers of the southern regions would definitely be shaken. In fact, even major powers outside the southern regions would be implicated. For example, Zidi's power and Dongxing Heaven Emperor's power. The southern regions of the immortal realms were boundlessly vast. The major powers could be divided according to the 3 ancient clans. The Namhuang clan, the Jiang clan, and the Ying clan each had their own territories. Although the Namhuang clan and the Jiang clan didn't have direct control, with them as the center, the surrounding areas were all under their influence. In truth, they had great control over these areas. Among these 3 powers, the Ying clan's territory was the most vast. Naturally, other than these 3 major powers, there were also many immortal emperors who had a strong influence on the surrounding powers. And below them, there were many sects established by immortal kings. They were also competing against each other unceasingly. The God Hand Mountain Manor was very close to the Namhuang clan's territory. However, the 3 ancient clans' control over this area wasn't that strong. In addition to the fact that there was an immortal emperor, Emperor Yu, the Namhuang clan didn't truly extend their influence over here. In this place, other than the God Hand Mountain Manor, there were also many other immortal king-ranked powers. Qin Wendian and his group borrowed the power of an immortal weapon to soar through the air. The speed of the immortal weapon was extremely fast. It was a puppet phoenix that was extremely vivid and lifelike. This puppet phoenix was extremely valuable and was an immortal king-ranked divine weapon. Not only could it soar through the air, it could also attack and defend. It was only bestowed to Namhuang Yunshi after she became the holy successor. The immortal realms are truly vast. How long more do we need to reach there? Jun Mingchen asked. This was still the territory controlled by the Namhuang clan. They had to borrow the power of an immortal weapon to travel for such a long time. Looking at the map, we should be able to reach there within a day. Namhuang Yunshi spoke. She turned her head and glanced at Qin Wendian, who was currently cultivating with his eyes closed. She silently mused that this fellow was truly a cultivation maniac. Geniuses also needed to work hard. If not, no matter how high one's talent was, their accomplishments would still be limited. Because they had been rushing, Namhuang Yunshi and the others didn't know that right now, there were already many major powers that were heading in the same direction as them, towards the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor. This was something completely unexpected. Regardless of Namhuang Yunshi or Qin Wendian, none of them would have expected Jiang Ziyu to have the divine ears of the Buddhist sect, able to hear sounds from 1,000 miles away. Also, Jiang Ziyu had clearly been watching them for a very long time before he left the Namhuang clan. Chapter 1059. The God Hand Mountain Manor was located in a mountain forest with beautiful scenery. Throughout the year, the air here was cool and refreshing, akin to an immortal realm. Qin Wenyan and the others finally arrived outside the mountain manor. This immortal emperor manor was very quiet and there were servants guarding the entrance. In order to show his respect to the owner of the manor, Qin Wenyan naturally got off the phoenix boat. He then spoke. The holy successor of the Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunshi, is here to pay a visit to Senior Emperor Yu. I hope that you can inform him of my arrival. Namhuang Yunshi revealed her identity the moment she arrived. She naturally wanted to gain the respect of immortal emperors. Not everyone had the qualifications to meet with immortal emperors. If she wanted to pay a visit just like that, wouldn't the immortal emperor be extremely busy? That servant glanced at Namhuang Yunshi before smiling. Everyone, please follow me into the manor first. There will be housekeeper Lu to receive you all. Namhuang Yunshi nodded her head lightly. After that, she followed the servant and entered the manor. There were pavilions and pavilions within the manor, as well as artificial mountains and lakes. The environment was quiet and tranquil, truly a rare place for cultivation. A white-robed middle-aged man walked over. He was slightly plump and had a smile on his face, exuding a sense of joy. Since the holy successor of the Namhuang clan is able to come all the way here, Lu, apologize for not going out to welcome you. This white-robed man was none other than housekeeper Lu of the manor. His smiling eyes were immeasurably deep and although he didn't exude any aura, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. Being able to work as a housekeeper in the manor of an immortal emperor, his cultivation base was definitely extraordinary. He should be an immortal king expert. Housekeeper Lu is too polite. Juniors took the liberty to disturb you. I hope that housekeeper Lu won't take offense. Namhuang Yunshi smiled. I, Namhuang Yunshi of the Namhuang clan, have some matters that I wish to meet with Senior Emperor Yu. I wonder if Senior Emperor Yu is willing to meet with Junior? Are you here for the God's Hand? Housekeeper Lu smiled as he stared at Namhuang Yunshi. His eyes were narrowed, and no one could tell what he was thinking. However, this caused the expressions of Namhuang Yunshi and the others to freeze. Indeed, Namhuang Yunshi felt bewildered in her heart. Senior, how did you know? Holy maiden, please follow me. Butler Lu spoke. After that, he brought everyone into the mountain manor. The God Hand Mountain Manor occupied a vast area and was extremely spacious. An instant later, Butler Lu brought everyone to an empty plot of land and pointed to a pavilion ahead. There were several silhouettes there as Butler Lu spoke. They are here for this as well. Before Steward Lu opened his mouth, Namhuang Yunshi, Qin Wenyan, and the others fixed their eyes there, staring at those figures with slightly unpleasant expressions. Why was he here? How have you been, Saintess Yunshi? At this moment, a young man from the other side of the pavilion walked over. This young man was none other than Jiang Ziyu from the Jiang clan. He actually rushed ahead of Namhuang Yunshi and entered the God Hand Mountain Manor. Jiang Ziyu. Namhuang Yunshi furrowed her brows, as though she was contemplating why Jiang Ziyu would appear here. Brother Qin, my invitation is still valid. Brother Qin, are you willing to follow me to the Jiang clan as a guest? The Jiang clan will definitely treat you as an honored guest. Jiang Ziyu smiled at Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan stared at him. Butler Lu said that Jiang Ziyu also came here for the God Hand Mountain Manor? How could there be such a coincidence in this world? Jiang Ziyu received the news at the same time as them and came to the God Hand Mountain Manor. Evidently, Jiang Ziyu wasn't surprised at all when he saw them. In fact, it was as though he was waiting for them here. Evidently, he already knew that they would come. You are staring at us? Qin Wenyan didn't reply but coldly asked. Jiang Ziyu had a mysterious smile on his face and didn't reply. He then spoke, What? Are all of you here for the God Hand as well? What a coincidence. I've seen it before in the ancient records of the Namhuang clan. There are some extremely mysterious innate techniques in the Buddhist path, such as the heavenly eye innate technique and the divine ear innate technique, allowing one to see things from 1,000 miles away and listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away. I've always heard that the descendants of the Jiang clan are proficient in the Buddhist path. Young Master Jiang, as an outstanding heavens chosen of the Jiang clan, I'm sure you must have extraordinary attainments in the Buddhist path. Since you can see through the leaves of the parasol tree in our Namhuang clan, it seems like you might be able to listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away. Nanfeng Xinga smiled at the side. Momentarily, Namhuang Yunxi and Qin Wenyan were all enlightened. Jiang Ziyu had exchanged blows with Qin Wenyan before, and he knew that Qin Wenyan cultivated an incomplete God's hand. If he really kept staring at him, when he exited the Namhuang clan, he would be able to listen to the wind from 1,000 miles away and hear the conversation between him and Namhuang Yunxi. Given Jiang Ziyu's intelligence, he would be able to easily deduce many things. There was no doubt that they were targeted by Jiang Ziyu. Miss Xinga's knowledge is truly extraordinary. Jiang Ziyu smiled at Nanfeng Xinga. He was very calm. He didn't mind at all that Namhuang Yunxi and the others knew about this. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness. Initially, if they were the only ones here, given the status of the Namhuang clan, in addition to the fact that he had cultivated God's hand and could be considered half a successor of ancient Emperor Yi, Emperor Yu would definitely allow him to cultivate the complete version of God's hand. But now that Jiang Ziyu interfered, it was very hard for Emperor Yu to be biased towards them. The Namhuang clan and the Jiang clan were both powerful clans in the southern regions, and Emperor Yu was someone who cultivated in peace. The best solution was to let them compete among themselves. Butler Lu, is Emperor Yu in the manor? Namhuang Yunxi no longer glanced at Jiang Ziyu. She turned to the white-robed butler and asked, Emperor Yu has gone out to roam the world. However, I have already informed him. As for when he would return, I have no idea. I have no right to ask about Emperor Yu's matters. Butler Lu spoke apologetically. Holy Maiden of Southern Huang came from afar. Why don't you temporarily stay in the manor? I will arrange accommodations for all of you. Right, Junior will have to trouble the manor for a period of time. Namhuang Yunxi nodded. Clearly, she wouldn't come here for nothing. The secret art of ancient Emperor Yi, God's hand, was a major matter. She had to do her best to help Qin Wenyan obtain the complete version. Everyone, please follow me. Butler Lu spoke. Namhuang Yunxi and the others followed him. Not long later, Butler Lu arranged their accommodations. The environment was exquisite, with a small bridge and flowing water. However, Qin Wenyan and the others weren't in a good mood. This Jiang Ziyu is truly sinister. Look at him, he's asking for a beating. Jun Mingchen unhappily spoke. Although I'm unhappy with him, Jiang Ziyu is truly a tough character to deal with. He's extremely powerful. Qin Wenyan coldly spoke. Nanfeng Xinga also nodded in agreement. Back then, I personally witnessed the battle in the ancestral lands. Jiang Ziyu is truly extraordinary. He came out to temper himself, and the Jiang clan would definitely regard him highly. His status should be equal to the holy successor. We have to be careful of him. Now we can only wait. Namhuang Yunxi faintly spoke. Emperor Yu wasn't here. Now they could only wait for him to return. Qin Wenyan and Namhuang Yunxi stayed in the God Hand manor. It was just that they didn't expect that before Emperor Yu returned, there would already be experts arriving at the manor. Among them, Zidi and the disciples of Dongxing Heaven Emperor were included. Within the God Hand manor, Qin Wenyan and Namhuang Yunxi stared at Dongxing Ting and the others. Their eyes flickered with coldness, as though there was a faint killing intent within. Other than Dongxing Ting and his group, there were also experts from other powers arriving. Among them was Kong Yi, whom Qin Wenyan met in the ancestral lands of the Namhuang clan. Kong Yi brought his subordinates here, and according to Nanfeng Xinga, several major powers from the southern regions have also arrived. It seems like the news has already been circulated. Evidently, this was done by Jiang Ziyu and his group. You guys are truly like ghosts that won't leave us alone. Qin Wenyan coldly spoke as he stared at Dongxing Ting and the others. Namhuang Yunxi, since we are already out of the southern Phoenix Immortal City, the Holy Maiden wouldn't interfere in the grudge between us and Qin Wenyan, right? Dongxing Ting stared at Namhuang Yunxi as he spoke. Qin Wenyan is a good friend of mine. Nam Huang Yunshi calmly spoke, her words causing Dong Xingting's expression to turn heavy. The Nam Huang clan was determined to interfere in this matter. I'm afraid the Holy Maiden won't be able to stop us. Dong Xingting threatened. You guys might have many experts, but do you really think the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan would come out alone? Nanfeng Xinga smiled. If there's anyone who dares to offend the Holy Maiden, I'm afraid none of you will be able to walk out of here alive. Both sides fell into silence as a faint pressure permeated the atmosphere. Do you only know how to hide behind women? Dong Xingting stared at Qin Wenyan. In the past, it was Qing'er and now, it was Nam Huang Yunshi. What was even more hateful was that both of them were extremely outstanding women regardless of talent or background. Emichim? Qin Wenyan frowned. He stared at Dong Xingting and smiled. From your words, you don't want to rely on others to fight alone? Sure, bring it on. Qin Wenyan spoke as he walked to the empty space. He had a smile on his face as he stared at Dong Xingting in a provocative manner. Dong Xingting's countenance was ice cold, yet he didn't move. Dong Xingting, I truly feel ashamed for you. The son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor has thrown his face all the way here. To think that you want my senior brother to not rely on others. Are you prepared to fight together with others? Do you have any shame? Jun Mingchen mocked as he stared at Dong Xingting. Many people turned their gazes over, causing Dong Xingting to feel a burning sensation on his face. Dong Xingting, no matter what, you are the son of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor and your cultivation base is extremely high. Why don't you have the courage to fight? Jiang Ziyu, who was standing far away, laughed. This place seems to be very lively. At this moment, a voice rang out. After which, everyone only saw a golden bolt of lightning breaking through the air as a figure stood proudly in the air. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he smiled at everyone, exuding an extraordinary aura. The gazes of everyone turned to him. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flickered as he smiled. Who from the Ying clan are you? The Ying clan. The hearts of everyone trembled. Have all the experts from the 3 great clans of the southern regions arrived? The strength of the Ying clan was extremely terrifying. The Ying clan of the royal emperor city established the Ying immortal empire and was an immortal empire with terrifying influence. The members of this clan were the most tyrannical among the 3 great clans of the southern regions. Yingting. The young man spoke. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flashed. He had heard of Yingting's name before. Who are you? Yingting counter-asked. Jiang Ziyu. Ha, a genius of the Jiang clan. Very good. These ladies over here should be the holy maidens of the Nam Huang clan, right? It's rumored that the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan is Nam Huang Yunshi. Is she here? Yingting's gaze roamed around Nam Huang Yunshi and Nanfeng Xinga before finally landing on Nam Huang Yunshi. This is none other than the holy successor of my Nam Huang clan, Nam Huang Yunshi. Nanfeng Xinga smiled as she introduced. After that, Yingting's gaze sharpened. He then turned to the others. Seems like many major powers of the southern regions have arrived. How unexpected! The secret art of the ancient emperor, God's hand, has always been hidden in the southern regions. Chapter 1060. The arrival of the Ying clan caused the God Hand Mountain Manor to become the center of the storm in the southern regions. The 3 major clans of the southern regions gathered here. This was an extremely rare scene. Only the ultimate arts of ancient emperors would have such rallying power. Not only so, in the following days, the God Hand Mountain Manor truly became the center of attention of the entire southern regions. Other than the 3 strongest ancient clans, the other emperor-ranked powers also sent their experts over, entering the God Hand Mountain Manor. Zidi and Dongxing Heaven Emperor also came as reinforcements. The experts from the Nam Huang clan no longer hid in the shadows and directly showed themselves to protect Nam Huang Yunshi and the others. Right now, the situation at the God Hand Mountain Manor was simply too chaotic. Not only did the juniors arrive, many immortal kings also arrived as well as many experts in the shadows, eyeing the God Hand Mountain Manor like tigers watching their prey. Such a situation caused Qin Wenyan to be extremely unhappy. Jiang Ziyu leaked the news. causing the difficulty of obtaining God's hand to increase by many times. Qin Wenyan knew that Emperor Yu should already be clear of the situation at the God Hand Mountain Manor, but he still didn't show himself, because this matter implicated the major powers of the southern regions. Even as an immortal emperor, he had no choice but to be cautious. Today, Butler Lu finally informed everyone that Emperor Yu has returned and would be meeting with them soon. The God Hand Mountain Manor was extremely vast, and there were several hundred people here. These people were all from the major powers of the immortal realms, and below the mountain manor, there were even more people who didn't even have the qualifications to step foot into the mountain manor. The people in the mountain manor were all from the major powers of the southern regions. What qualifications did ordinary characters have to compete against them? Qin Wenyan and Nam Huang Yunshi sat in a pavilion. Behind them, there were experts from the Nam Huang clan guarding them. There are so many people here, things are going to be troublesome. Jun Mingchen glanced at the experts in the surroundings. Even if Emperor Yu really had God's hand, it was basically impossible for him to hand it over to them alone. This would undoubtedly offend the other major powers. Qin Wenyan sat there, feeling a cold aura boring down on him. Turning his gaze over, he saw Zi Daolong. Before this, they had already met before. Zi Daolong was none other than Zi Daoyang's elder brother, the son of Zidi, an immortal king. How long do you think the Nam Huang clan can protect you? Zi Daolong asked indifferently. Zidi. A mocking smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. He didn't reply. This caused Zi Daolong's expression to stiffen. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing at Zidi for not living up to his name. Qin Wentian spoke. Everyone knows who the culprit behind Zi Daoyang's death is. Emosier of the Myriad Devil Islands, you guys don't have the guts to kill your way to the Myriad Devil Islands to seek revenge, yet you guys want to use me as a scapegoat? Even if you guys really killed me, it would only be a joke. Don't try to provoke me. I will naturally kill Emosier. As for you, I will also not spare you. Zi Daolong coldly threatened. Zi Daolong, in the future, it's best that you don't challenge others. Qin Wendian didn't mind it. He then continued, if you challenge others, most probably others would give in to you. What if they accidentally defeat you and you die mysteriously? If that happens, Zidi would go and seek revenge from the person who defeated you? That would truly be unlucky. Jun Mingchen laughed. Nan Fengshinga also had a smile on her face. Many people were staring at Zi Daolong. Although Zidi's actions weren't very glorious, they could still understand. That was the lofty Zidi. His son was killed. How could the arrogant him not find those who implicated him in the death of his son? This was the tyranny of those with authority. Even if he was unreasonable, he would still be in the right. You seem to have offended quite a lot of people. I heard from them that you have even cultivated God's hand? A voice drifted over. It was none other than Yingting, a member of the Ying clan. He discovered that Qin Wenyan was very interesting. Jiang Ziyu, Dong Xingting and Zidi's subordinates all had grudges with him. Sir, I'm afraid you've offended quite a lot of people as well. It's just that many people don't dare to look for you. Qin Wenyan casually smiled. Bullying the weak and fearing the strong was the nature of humans. If he was a direct descendant of the Nam Huang clan, as for immortal emperors like the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor, would their disciples dare to look for trouble with him? Most probably, even Zidi would give him some face. After all, he wasn't the one who killed Zi Daoyang. Brother Qin's words are logical. Why don't you join my Jiang clan? I can guarantee that my Jiang clan will help Brother Qin to resolve all these troubles. How about it? Jiang Ziyu spoke again. This Jiang Ziyu was mysterious and unfathomable, half human and half ghost. He didn't seem like an enemy, nor did he seem like a friend. His actions were very puzzling, but there was no doubt that he was an extremely powerful character. It was also impossible for Qin Wendian to join the Jiang clan. I, Qin, appreciate Brother Jiang's kind intentions. It's just that I don't have the fortune to enjoy it. Qin Wendian smiled as he rejected. The two of them spoke without any anger. Jiang Ziyu already knew the answer. He smiled faintly. At this moment, a mysterious aura descended. following which an ethereal voice echoed throughout this space. Guests from afar, since all of you have arrived, no matter who you are, please come up to the mountain manor for a chat. There's no need to stand on ceremony. This voice enveloped a vast area. Even people several hundred miles away could hear it clearly. At this moment, more and more experts arrived, all of them exuding extraordinary auras. All of them were immortal kings. At the same time, many people from the southern regions of the immortal realms headed towards the mountain manor. In just a short period of time, the God Hand Mountain Manor was already filled with people. Luckily, the mountain manor was extremely vast and this empty space extended all the way to the mountain range in the distance. Let alone these people, even an army of 100,000 could be easily accommodated. At this moment, in the direction of the Jiang clan, a figure appeared. After that, the experts of the Jiang clan all stood up and bowed respectfully. That expert turned his gaze over and landed on Jiang Ziyu. Granduncle. Jiang Ziyu smiled. Ziyu. The expert from the Jiang clan nodded to Jiang Ziyu as he transmitted his voice. I heard that you obtained the news from the Namhuang clan and spread it out. Why did you intentionally spread the news? Granduncle, I don't believe that the Namhuang clan didn't covet the secret art of an ancient emperor. Since they knew that the secret art is here, why didn't they come here before? Granduncle, do you believe me? Jiang Ziyu smiled as he replied. His granduncle nodded. There was only one possibility. The Namhuang clan negotiated with Emperor Yu, but there was no result. I think it should be because of the appearance of Qin Wenin. That's why the Namhuang clan told him about the location of the secret art. Qin Wenin has cultivated a portion of God's hand. Jiang Ziyu continued to transmit his voice. His granduncle didn't say anything more. This God Hand Mountain Manor was closer to the Namhuang clan. If their Jiang clan and the Namhuang clan fought for it, the probability of the Namhuang clan obtaining God's hand would be higher. Regardless of whether it was in terms of location or Qin Wenin having cultivated a portion of God's hand, Jiang Ziyu intentionally blew this matter up. In that case, it wouldn't just be a conflict between the Jiang clan and the Namhuang clan. Friends, do you really want me to invite all of you before you are willing to come out? That ethereal voice rang out once more. After that, many people laughed heartily as several figures appeared. In fact, it was impossible to see their movement techniques or where they came from. The experts of the Namhuang clan, including Namhuang Yunshi, all stood up, staring at the figure of the maiden who just appeared. This maiden was clad in a luxurious phoenix robe and exuded an extraordinary aura. We pay our respects to Holy Maiden Guhong. Everyone bowed. Nanfeng Guhong was one of the holy maidens of the Southern Phoenix Matriarch and has already broken through to the immortal Emperor realm. She was extremely powerful and was a trusted aide of the Southern Phoenix Matriarch. There were many things that the Southern Phoenix Matriarch would pass to her to handle. Most probably, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch's arrival was the will of the Southern Phoenix Matriarch. Yunshi. Nanfeng Guhong turned her gaze to Namhuang Yunshi. Her expression was calm as she spoke. The clan bestowed upon you the Jiue Palace. You have to work hard. Yunshi understands. Namhuang Yunshi nodded lightly. Xingge, it's the same for all the other holy maidens. Do your best and don't forget to cultivate. Nanfeng Guhong glanced at Nanfeng Xingge as she instructed. Nanfeng Xingge nodded. This immortal Emperor Guhong before her was none other than her role model. Even as a holy maiden, she could also break through to the immortal Emperor realm and accompany the Southern Phoenix Matriarch. Qin Wenin had a look of contemplation in his eyes. The Namhuang clan told him the location of the secret art. Other than repaying him, they clearly had other intentions. However, this was also normal. Back then, ancient Emperor Yi used this secret art to sweep through the immortal realms. Which major power would be willing to let it go? The Namhuang clan was no exception. Not only for the Jiang clan and Namhuang clan, the Ying clan also had an immortal emperor in the future. Other than this, Qin Wenin also saw a familiar silhouette. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor had personally arrived. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor appeared before Dongxing Ting. His expression was calm, and he casually glanced at Qin Wenin. Qin Wenyan understood that the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor most probably wanted nothing more than to kill him with a single slap. However, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor couldn't act personally. He, Qin Wenyan, was someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate on the surface. Immortal emperors couldn't directly interfere in the battle between the two powers. If Dongsheng Heaven Emperor dared to kill him, the Emperor of Qianbian would also dare to kill Dongsheng Ting. This was the agreement between both parties. Not far away from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, an extremely imposing immortal emperor appeared. Qin Wenyan had seen this immortal emperor before in the city of ancient emperors, but he only saw his immortal sense. This time around, he saw the true body of this immortal emperor. Zidi was clad in violet robes and had a slender figure. His eyes gleamed with a faint violet light, exuding an imposing aura. This time around, Zidi personally came instead of sending his subordinates. Other than the Violet Emperor, there were also immortal emperors like the Xian Emperor and the Shao Emperor, as well as several immortal emperors from the southern regions. This caused Qin Wenyan to truly feel the allure of the complete version of God's hand, attracting immortal emperors from the various regions. Emperor Yu, aren't you putting on airs a little too much? Zidi exuded an imposing aura as he spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, a burst of hearty laughter rang out as several figures walked over from the manor. The man in the lead exuded an ethereal aura, This man was none other than Emperor Yu. This Emperor Yu was a character from the same generation as ancient Emperor Yi. It was unknown how long he had lived. Chapter 1061. Emperor Yu smiled as he walked over. There were two other people beside him, all of them exuding an unfathomable aura. This caused the eyes of the immortal emperors to flash. The cultivation bases of these two were also extremely high. Since everyone is here to pay a visit, I'm not allowed to put on airs? Since this is the case, why did you come here? Emperor Yu smiled as he stared at Zidi. His tone was calm, exuding a transcendent aura, without a hint of anger in it. Zidi's eyes flashed with violet light, exuding a terrifying might. If it was an ordinary character with a lower cultivation base, they would have no choice but to submit under his gaze. Zidi coldly snorted. Emperor Yu didn't mind it at all. He turned his gaze to the immortal emperors and spoke. If there's anyone who doesn't like the airs of an old man like me, feel free to leave. I won't beg any of you. Senior Emperor Yu must be joking. No matter what, when Senior Emperor Yu became famous, I was still very young. Nanfeng Guhong smiled, her tone extremely polite. The fairies of the Namhuang clan really know how to talk. Emperor Yu nodded lightly to Nanfeng Guhong. I know that everyone received the news and came here for the secret art of Transcendent Emperor Yi, God's hand. Back then, Senior Emperor Yi relied on this secret art to dominate the immortal realms. After that, the secret art was lost and there was no more God's hand in the immortal realms. Since everyone is here, I believe you all won't leave until you see it. I won't hide this from everyone. The secret art of ancient Emperor Yi is with me. I, Emperor Yu, am the protector of this secret art. The eyes of everyone flashed. They didn't expect Emperor Yu to admit it so readily. However, just like what Emperor Yu has said, with so many immortal emperors here, if Emperor Yu didn't give a satisfactory answer, these immortal emperors wouldn't leave so easily. At this moment, the experts in the manor all fell silent. They stared at Emperor Yu, waiting for him to continue speaking. There are many immortal emperors here. As immortal emperors, all of you have clearly cultivated your own secret arts and techniques for many years. You should know how difficult it is to cultivate a powerful secret art. The more you want to cultivate it to the peak, the more time you need to accumulate your foundation. Right now, even if all of you immortal emperors obtained the secret art of God's hand and changed your cultivation path, would it be able to surpass the supreme innate techniques you cultivated? As expected, Emperor Yu continued to speak. I'm afraid that might not be the case. In any case, let me say something unpleasant to the ears. Because your astral souls are different, all of you are proficient in different domains and have already reached a certain level in a certain domain. As for God's hand, It is a secret art that is completely different from the energy you all cultivate. Even if God's hand is placed before your eyes, I'm afraid it would be extremely difficult for you all to successfully cultivate it. There's no need for Emperor Yu to worry about this. It's fine as long as you hand God's hand to us. This person's eyes were incomparably sharp, glowing with a golden light. His entire body exuded a wild aura. Beside him was a young man Qin Wenyin had met before in the Namhuang clan, Zhongzhan. Clearly, this person was a demon emperor, a golden heaven warring condor. Fine, I will hand God's hand over to you all. Let's see if you all can cultivate it. Emperor Yu straightforwardly nodded his head in agreement. Even that demon emperor felt somewhat bewildered. This Emperor Yu was a little too straightforward. As the protector of this secret art, would he really hand over God's hand so easily? Everyone, please step aside. I will imprint God's hand on this piece of land. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. The eyes of everyone flashed as they retreated. We still need to retreat further. Everyone, retreat. Emperor Yu flicked his sleeves. Although everyone didn't understand, they still retreated. Since Emperor Yu agreed, there was no way he would play any tricks. What sort of characters were the people here? Emperor Yu was an immortal emperor and was naturally extremely intelligent. He knew the consequences of making a fool out of them. Emperor Yu's figure slowly soared up into the air. The two beside him also retreated. An instant later, Emperor Yu appeared in the air. His white hair fluttered even though there was no wind. His long robes fluttered as a raging wind gusted. A fearsome might gushed forth from him, instantly enveloping the surroundings. In the center of Emperor Yu's brows, a terrifying divine light radiated resplendently, incomparably resplendent. In just a short instant, Emperor Yu's surroundings shone with golden light as countless ancient runes floated in the center of his brows, exuding boundless might. Abruptly, a terrifying beam of light shot out from him, blasting towards the ground. At this instant, the entire space trembled as boundless runic light shot towards the ground. A gigantic golden diagram appeared there, containing ancient runes that towered up into the sky, exuding an unfathomable might. Emperor Yu's might didn't diminish at all. Boundless immortal sense gushed forth, blasting into the ground, causing the entire area to turn golden, transforming into a terrifying formation. Finally, when everything came to an end, the gazes of everyone turned to the great earth. Countless runic inscriptions flowed about, as numerous ancient characters floated in the air, as though they were three-dimensional existences. What was even more terrifying was that there was actually a golden figure standing there. This figure was formed from countless runic inscriptions, and its entire body seemed to be a body of a talisman. It exuded a terrifying might that could cause one's soul to tremble. Emperor Yu floated in the air, staring at the stunned crowd as he spoke. This is the ultimate art of God's hand. Everyone can cultivate it. I hope that everyone will be able to succeed in it. Zidi took the lead and stepped out, instantly appearing below the gigantic golden diagram. Zidi closed his eyes and quietly sensed it. BZZ, BZZ. Numerous figures stepped out at the same time, entering the diagram. Nanfeng Guhong spoke. If any of you want to enter, don't leave my side. Everyone nodded. There were simply too many experts here. Nanfeng Guhong, as an immortal emperor, would be able to protect them. Nanfeng Guhong also stepped in. Qin Wenyin also entered the diagram, bathing in boundless runic light. Qin Wenyin closed his eyes as numerous ancient runes floated into his sea of consciousness. They were so clear and incomparably mystical. This was actually real, the ultimate art of God's hand. Qin Wenyin had no distractions in his heart, immersing himself in it. He could deeply sense the profoundness of God's hand. He transformed the immortal energy in his body into runes, transforming them into corporeal ancient runes, stimulating the strength of his entire body and not just his hands. All the energy in his body converged on his immortal foundation, transforming into a wondrous energy that could shake the heavens and earth. God's hand was like the hands of a divinity. God's hand wasn't an extremely complicated ultimate art. It was very simple yet incomparably profound, containing countless transformations within. One had to continuously comprehend it and grow stronger. If one couldn't comprehend it, they wouldn't even be able to gain an elementary understanding of it. There were many ultimate arts in the immortal realms that were cultivated step by step, from weak to strong. Even if one's talent wasn't very high, they would still be able to comprehend a little and unleash a small amount of power. However, God's hand was different. If one couldn't comprehend it, then they wouldn't be able to comprehend it. It wasn't something that could be cultivated step by step. As long as you comprehended it, you might be able to succeed in a single attempt. But how much power you could unleash would depend on your own comprehension abilities, how deep your comprehension was, and how much power you could unleash. God's hand wasn't a fixed method of attack. The cultivators were different and the energy they were proficient in was different. God's hand was able to unleash countless transformations. 3 days later, everyone was still immersed in it, including the immortal emperors. "Everyone, have you finished your cultivation?" At this moment, a voice rang out, shaking the eardrums of everyone. This caused everyone to open their eyes and stare in the direction of Emperor Yu. They all stepped out, exiting the space filled with runic characters. However, their gazes were still fixed there as their brows were tightly furrowed. ZD grabbed out with his hand as a gigantic palm imprint blasted out towards the sky. Emperor Yu laughed when he saw this. "Is this God's hand? This should be a gigantic palm imprint, right? God's hand isn't complete. It only has the form but not the essence. Where is the essence of this ultimate art?" ZD inclined his head and stared at Emperor Yu. His eyes gleamed with violet light, exuding an imposing might. As an immortal emperor character in the immortal realms, you actually still need others to teach you the essence? Emperor Yu stared at ZD and laughed. "From this point alone, you are far inferior compared to the ancient emperor." ZD's eyes narrowed. The violet chi in the air towered up into the sky, resembling a terrifying tempest. When Emperor Yu saw this, he asked, "Why? You can't evaluate it?" "I will step into the ancient emperor realm." ZD coldly spoke. "Now, tell us, where is the other part?" "Inside the ancient mountain." At this moment, the immortal emperor from the Jiang clan spoke. His eyes gleamed with a divine light as he stared at the ancient mountain peaks behind the God Hand Mountain Manor. Over there, even his eyes couldn't see through it. There must be a secret hidden there. "Let's go and take a look." The demon Emperor Golden Condor stepped out, wanting to head over. However, Emperor Yu laughed. "There's no need for you to act. You guys want to see the complete version of God's hand? I'm afraid none of you have the ability to do so. You speak too much nonsense." The golden battle chi from the demon emperor gushed forth. Emperor Yu glanced at a person beside him. That person's silhouette flashed as he flew towards the ancient mountain in the distance. An instant later, the clouds above the ancient mountain started to churn violently. There was actually a terrifying grand formation hidden within. The clouds dissipated, revealing a gigantic diagram that locked down the entire space. Emperor Yu stretched out his palm, and a resplendent golden light flashed in his palm. A golden arrow appeared in his hand, containing a torrential sharpness. Swish! A thunderous sound rang out, the arrow pierced through the air, instantly landing on the gigantic diagram. With a thunderous boom, the entire world seemed to change. A mysterious ancient mountain covered in churning clouds appeared in the vision of everyone. The immortal emperors here instantly sent their immortal senses out, wanting to probe it. They only felt that it was incomparably mysterious. Their immortal senses were all restricted. Bizizi! A raging wind gusted as demonic chi towered up into the sky. Golden light enveloped this entire space, incomparably resplendent. The demon Emperor Golden Condor flapped its golden wings and instantly entered the ancient mountain. The eyes of the immortal emperors flashed as they prepared to act. But at this very instant, a towering aura gushed forth as the Golden Condor soared up into the sky. Boundless golden light illuminated the area as a destructive palm manifested, blotting out the sun as it blasted out. The demon emperor roared, causing heaven and earth to shake violently. He retreated hundreds of kilometers in the blink of an eye, where rumbling sounds could be heard. The ground was torn apart, and the sky was split open by the golden light. The mountain peaks in the area were all crushed into powder. Roar! The demon emperor let out a heaven-shaking roar. His supreme combat might cause those with lower cultivation bases to prostrate on the ground. A palm imprint from the ancient mountain forced the demon emperor to retreat. Emperor Yu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He swept his gaze over everyone as he spoke. Even if there's an ultimate art within this ancient mountain, I'm afraid none of the immortal emperors here would be able to enter. Chapter 1062. A raging wind gusted as golden light flashed. The demon Emperor Condor returned. His expression was incomparably sharp as he stared at Emperor Yu. "Why are you looking at me? I didn't ask you to enter. You guys are the ones who requested to enter." Emperor Yu calmly spoke. "Everyone here is an extraordinary character. Since all of you want to cultivate God's hand, I shall place God's hand before you all. Could it be that all of you want to blame me for failing? What a joke. What's in the ancient mountain?" Dongsheng Heaven Emperor walked up and asked. The gazes of everyone turned to Emperor Yu. Seems like it wouldn't be so easy to obtain God's hand. Even if Emperor Yu allowed them to cultivate it, it would still be extremely difficult. I've said it before, I'm merely the protector of the ultimate art. This ancient mountain was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi and contains the essence of the so-called ultimate art you all want. Perhaps, it might be able to enlighten you all. However, I have to remind everyone that this ancient mountain isn't so easy to enter. The stronger one's cultivation base is, the greater the influence they would feel, because the essence of the ultimate art you all will feel will be more real. It's so real that it's like a real attack, directly attacking you. Emperor Yu's eyes gradually turned sharp. Since so many experts came to the God Hand Mountain Manor wanting to obtain God's hand, he might as well go with the flow. It was indeed about time for God's hand to appear. There were already some young men who managed to cultivate God's hand in the city of ancient emperors and came here. Now, it all depended on who had the fortune to obtain the complete secret art. As the protector of this secret art, he could also give up on everything. Ancient Emperor Yi is merely an ancient person. Can the will he left behind stop us? ZD stood there arrogantly, his imposingness growing even more intense. He stared at the horizons with an eager look on his face. I don't wish to repeat myself. The complete secret art, God's hand, is right before your eyes. If you all have the ability, go ahead and obtain it. There's no need for me to waste my breath. I also know why everyone is here and can't be bothered to waste words with an old man like me. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. ZD's silhouette flashed and instantly appeared at the entrance of the ancient mountain. Violet chi rose from the east. The entire space was filled with violet light. The silhouette of the Violet Emperor was like an ancient god, exuding boundless might. He stepped out, directly entering the ancient mountain. ZD was a peak stage immortal emperor character in the immortal realms. How powerful was he? If the true body of ancient Emperor Yi was here, ZD would definitely feel inferior. However, this ancient mountain was left behind by ancient emperor. How could he, ZD, be unable to enter? The silhouette of the Violet Emperor disappeared directly, entering the ancient mountain. A formless pressure emanated from the ancient mountain, causing everything within 1,000 miles to tremble. Everyone's hearts trembled along with it. Within the ancient mountain, violet light towered up into the skies as a supreme might enveloped the entire region. Although the experts of the God Hand Mountain Manor were very far away, they could feel the earth beneath their feet trembling unceasingly. In fact, there were even faint cracks appearing on the ground. Rumble! A terrifying pressure enveloped everyone. They had no way to see what was happening within the ancient mountain. Finally, boundless violet light shot up into the clouds as ZD appeared there. The resplendent violet radiance seemed to have been shattered, and he appeared to be in a sorry state. His eyes were filled with violet light as he stared at the ancient mountain below with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Even ZD can't enter? The hearts of the crowd trembled. If ZD couldn't enter, most probably none of the immortal emperors present here would be able to. Ziti wasn't willing to give up. He stepped into the ancient mountain once more as that oppressive pressure engulfed the sky once more. Not long after, Ziti came out again. This time around, he didn't persist and chose to return to the God Hand Mountain Manor with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Go in and try. Ziti spoke to an immortal king beside him. That immortal king nodded and stepped out, entering the ancient mountain. Everyone turned their gazes over, paying close attention to what was happening. Within the ancient mountain, another terrifying collision sound rang out. Although it wasn't as intense as before, it still caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Not long after, that immortal king was forced back, coughing out a mouthful of blood. However, his life wasn't in danger. This ancient mountain was able to block Ziti, yet it couldn't even kill an immortal king. From this, one could tell that Emperor Yu didn't say anything. The stronger one's cultivation base was, the greater the effect would be. Emperor Xiao, why don't you let your daughter go in and try? Zi Daoyang stared at Xiao Lingyue as he spoke. Xiao Lingyue's cultivation base was the lowest among everyone here. She was only at the peak of celestial phenomenon and had yet to break through to immortal foundation. The eyes of the Xiao Emperor flickered as he hesitated. Ziti's gaze was incomparably imposing, exuding a faint pressure. Although they were both immortal emperors, Ziti's cultivation base was higher than his. Hence, although immortal emperors were immortal emperors, in front of Ziti, they were no different from immortal kings. At the immortal emperor level, a single level higher could suppress someone to death. Father, let me try. Xiao Lingyue spoke. Only then did the Xiao Emperor nod. I will bring you over. After speaking, the Xiao Emperor brought Xiao Lingyue to the ancient mountain. Outside the ancient mountain, he placed Xiao Lingyue down and allowed her to enter. Within the ancient mountain, no aura could be sensed. The Xiao Emperor saw Xiao Lingyue advancing step by step without any abnormalities. In fact, she wasn't even attacked at all. His gaze then turned to the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor, as he felt a sense of shock in his heart. My daughter is in the ancient mountain, she isn't affected at all. The Xiao Emperor spoke. She isn't affected at all. This means that even if she entered, it would be pointless. Emperor Yu smiled. That place contains the divine essence of God's hand. If she can't even sense the divine essence, what's the point of entering? In that case, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter the ancient mountain? An immortal emperor from the Jiang clan asked. Emperor Yu smiled but didn't reply. It's fine for people of any cultivation base to enter. It's up to you. God's hand is right before your eyes. Whether you can cultivate it or not depends on your luck. But let me remind all of you that God's hand is something all of you want to cultivate. I'll open the doors to allow all of you to come into contact with Senior Emperor Yi's secret art. I don't expect all of you to be grateful to me, but if your disciples or descendants die because of this secret art, don't blame it on this old man. If that's the case, you would truly be a laughing stock. Everyone wants you to stay here and not leave. If anything happens after we enter, we won't blame you. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan spoke, his words causing the other immortal emperors to nod as their eyes gleamed with sharpness. That's right, Emperor, you had to stay behind. If not, who knew if he would be able to control the energy within the ancient mountain? Okay, I will stay here and watch over everyone. Please do as you wish. Emperor, you didn't mind the overbearing request of the other party. He then spoke in a carefree manner. Men, prepare a banquet. This old man will stay here to entertain the guests who came from afar. The white-robed butler Lu nodded. After that, he left to instruct the subordinates of the manor. Not long after, there really was a banquet prepared. Emperor Yu sat there with a smile on his face, as though he was looking at the rising wind and surging clouds. Everyone, please feel free to do as you please. Emperor Yu waved his hands, as though he didn't care about anything. The other immortal emperors weren't as calm as Emperor Yu. They respectively sent their immortal kings to probe the ancient mountain. Not only for them, the immortal kings of the southern regions also entered as well. The ancient mountain trembled as the sounds of attacks rang out unceasingly. Those immortal kings were all blasted out, unable to enter the ancient mountain. In fact, there were even some who were injured. And this was merely the moment they entered the ancient mountain. It was unknown what secrets there were in the depths of the ancient mountain. Immortal kings couldn't enter, only immortal foundation experts could. They tried again, and as expected, the cultivation bases of immortal foundation experts were weaker. Hence, the attacks they encountered were weaker as well. But because their cultivation bases were lower, some of them were forced back, but there were also some who could advance. As they probed again and again, they seemed to have discovered a pattern. At this moment, the experts of the Namhuang clan sat together, enjoying the delicacies and wine. Their gazes surveyed the surroundings only to hear Nanfeng Guhong saying, "God's hand isn't easy to obtain. How can the secret arts of ancient emperors be so easily comprehended?" Qin Wendian laughed. "You can tell?" Nanfeng Guhong's gaze landed on Qin Wendian. Senior Emperor, you said that the ancient mountain contains the essence of the secret art. However, for those who enter, the stronger their cultivation base is, the stronger the attacks they would face. They would be able to comprehend the most, while those with weaker cultivation bases could easily enter. But if they couldn't see anything, what's the use of that? Hence, if one wants to comprehend the secret art, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter. However, if they want to pry into the secrets of the secret art, they would have to endure attacks that far surpass their cultivation base. Qin Wendian spoke. "I don't think so. If it's like what you said, there's no solution. I believe that ancient Emperor Yi left the secret art here because he wanted to find a successor and not because he wanted to waste time. Only those who truly have the ability to enter the depths of the ancient mountain would have the qualifications to probe and pry into the secrets of the secret art. But clearly, this entrance has already been sealed by too many people." Nanfeng Guhong calmly spoke. Her thoughts were the same as the other immortal emperors. They were already prepared to send their most outstanding geniuses into the ancient mountain, including their descendants. "Oh yeah, let me remind everyone again. If your immortal senses were to appear in there, you would instantly sense the divine essence of the secret arts in the ancient mountain. However, your immortal senses are far inferior compared to your true bodies and would be instantly blasted into nothingness. Hence, when you send your descendants into the ancient mountain, you have to be more cautious." Emperor Yu laughed, his words causing many immortal emperors to coldly glance at him. Although this was the case, they had no choice. Only by entering the ancient mountain would they be able to comprehend the secret art. Inside, this was the only chance. Their descendants had to personally enter. After all, the secret art wasn't a secret art. There was no way for them to bring it out. "Ziyu, do you want to enter?" The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan asked Jiang Ziyu. "Since the opportunity has appeared, I naturally have to enter." Jiang Ziyu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. "Good, I've already told my clan to send their geniuses over to accompany you into the ancient mountain." The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan spoke. Not only him, the Ying clan did the same as well. "I'm afraid they will still send more people over. My Namhuang clan will also send some experts over to enter the ancient mountain. You guys should continue to comprehend the power of God's hand and increase your chances of success." Nanfeng Guhong spoke. The reappearance of God's hand in the southern regions would naturally cause a huge commotion. After several days, even more experts arrived at the God Hand Mountain Manor. Emperor Yu was still as carefree as ever, as though everything had nothing to do with him. He was just an outsider, watching the storm from the sidelines. After a few more days, the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya also arrived. At the same time, there were also some people who Qin Wenyan had never met before. All of them exuded extraordinary auras and were at different levels of immortal foundation. Chapter 1063. More and more experts gathered at the God Hand Mountain Manor. The immortal emperors here tried many times and understood that immortal foundation was the best choice to enter the ancient mountain. Only they would have a chance to enter the depths of the ancient mountain and comprehend the divine essence of God's hand, obtaining the complete version. Hence, they gathered many Immortal Foundation geniuses from their sects here. In fact, there were already more and more Immortal Foundation experts who entered the ancient mountain. Some could only walk at the periphery and had no way to enter. However, there were also some outstanding geniuses who disappeared from the vision of the crowd. Clearly, they had already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Qin Wenyan wasn't in a hurry. He sat cross-legged and stared at the runic diagram of God's hand as he continued to comprehend the complete version. Leaving aside immortal emperors and immortal kings, their comprehension abilities might be extraordinary. But at the Immortal Foundation level, Qin Wenyan was certain that no one would have a deeper comprehension of God's hand compared to him. After all, he was someone who had truly cultivated God's hand before and could already unleash the power of God's hand. His comprehension of the complete version of God's hand grew increasingly deeper, and he knew how to activate it. Emperor Yu was as carefree as ever, sitting in a pavilion and enjoying the immortal banquet. No matter how many people came, he didn't care at all, allowing them to do what they wanted. It had nothing to do with him. "Ziyu, are you still not going in?" The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan stared at Jiang Ziyu, who was sitting cross-legged, as he asked. There were already many people who entered the ancient mountain, including those from the Ying clan. Yet, Jiang Ziyu was still unmoved. "There's no hurry. Try to comprehend more of God's hand. The more proficient you are, the more beneficial it would be for you to comprehend the divine essence of God's hand. In addition, I'm waiting for someone to enter first." Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke. He glanced at Qin Wenyan. Qin Wenyan had already cultivated God's hand before. Since Qin Wenyan wasn't in a hurry, why should he, Jiang Ziyu, be in a hurry? "In that case, I will get the people from the Jiang clan to wait for you." The Jiang clan's great emperor spoke. Among the people here, although they were all members of the Jiang clan, Jiang Ziyu's talent was the highest and his status was the highest among them. If there was someone who could comprehend God's hand, Jiang Ziyu would have the greatest chance. The others came here to assist Jiang Ziyu. Nanfeng Guhong was also in no hurry. She turned her gaze to Qin Wenyan and Namhuang Yunxi, allowing the Namhuang clan to follow them into the ancient mountain. Qin Wenyan continued to comprehend for several days. His body glowed with immortal light as a huge transformation occurred. Numerous complicated runes appeared as his immortal foundation transformed into various diagrams, transforming into a powerful energy that stimulated his immortal body. However, he was still a step away. Just like back then when Qin Wenyan entered the underground palace together with Shaolin Yue, he was only able to comprehend the form of God's hand. Only after he saw the blood-colored runes in the underground palace would he be able to unleash the true power of God's hand. The secret should be hidden somewhere in the ancient mountain. Today, a mysterious figure appeared in the God Hand Mountain Manor. Beside this mysterious figure was a black hound that exuded a baleful aura. Its eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness, and everyone who came into contact with the black hound's gaze would feel a chill down their spines. The person beside the black hound was clad in a long robe and exuded an unfathomable aura. It was impossible to tell his age and appearance because he had a mysterious bronze mask on his face. His exposed eyes were deep and cold, causing people to be able to sense the sharpness in them. At the same time, they could also sense that this person wasn't very old and should be a young man. His cultivation base was only at the Immortal Foundation realm. Jiang Ziyu turned his gaze to the mysterious figure. His eyes turned terrifying as he stared into the eyes of the mysterious figure, wanting to see through everything. At the same time, the mysterious figure seemed to have sensed his gaze and turned back to him as well. Jiang Ziyu saw a pair of extremely deep and terrifying eyes. The power contained in the mysterious figure's eyes had no way to hide. It was completely blocked. He couldn't see through it. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flashed. He didn't expect that there would be another interesting person here. Things were getting more and more interesting. The mysterious young man with the bronze mask swept his gaze over everyone before closing his eyes to meditate. Everyone saw that he was alone and didn't pay much attention to this mysterious figure. In fact, there were even some who silently mused that this mysterious figure was trying to act mysterious. At this moment, Qin Wenyan stood up. The gazes of many turned to him, only to see Qin Wenyin nodding his head to the emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya. Seems like your life in the Namhuang clan isn't too bad. The emperor of Qianbian stared at the beauties beside Qin Wenyin as he smiled. Luckily, the Namhuang clan has been taking good care of me. Qin Wendian laughed. Seems like your harvest this time around isn't small. Now, it's time for you to enter. The emperor of Qianbian spoke. Right. Qin Wendian nodded. After that, he turned his gaze onto the ancient mountain and stepped out, moving in that direction. Namhuang Yunshi and the others from the Namhuang clan followed after him. The group of young men beside the emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya also stepped out, preparing to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu of the Jiang clan stood up and spoke, "Let's go." As the sound of his voice faded, they all moved towards the ancient mountain. Dong Shengting stared at the silhouette of Qin Wenyin as a cold light flashed in his eyes. After that, he and the other disciples of the other immortal emperors stepped out at the same time, moving towards the ancient mountain. It was as though because of Qin Wentian's actions, all of them would be affected. After the group entered the ancient mountain, the mysterious figure with the bronze mask gently stroked his black hound, before bringing the black hound with him into the ancient mountain. Very swiftly, the number of people here grew fewer and fewer. Only a few immortal emperors and emperors remained, as well as those who couldn't enter the ancient mountain. With so many geniuses entering the ancient mountain in search of good fortune, there would surely be many who would die here. Also, there would definitely be descendants of those who are present here. I've already warned everyone, don't blame this old man if they die here. This is the path you all chose for yourselves. Emperor Yu spoke, his voice filled with coldness. Zidi coldly snorted. Among his descendants, Zi Deyang was the youngest and had the lowest cultivation base. As for his other descendants, none of them were at the immortal foundation realm. This time around, he ordered one of his nephews with outstanding talent to enter the ancient mountain. Naturally, there would definitely be people who would die here. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly spoke as he glanced in the direction of the Emperor of Qianbian. Eastern Sage, if Qin Wendian and Dongsheng Ting encountered each other alone, who do you think would die? The Emperor of Qianbian laughed as he stared at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's eyes flashed with coldness. Naturally, Qin Wendian would die. Is that so? Why did I hear that your son Dongsheng Ting doesn't even have the courage to fight against Qin Wendian? The Emperor of Qianbian sarcastically spoke. Weia said that back then when you went to the particle world to recruit disciples, Qin Wendian was only an initial stage celestial phenomenon. At that time, Dongsheng Ting was already a lofty immortal foundation cultivator, yet he actually cowered from battle in the Namhuang clan. This son of yours is truly trash. I hope he would be able to walk out alive. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's countenance was ice cold as a violent might gushed forth. The Emperor of Qianbian coldly laughed. Why? Do you want to fight again? Qianbian, I hope you can continue being so arrogant. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor threatened. His gaze then turned to Bai Wuya, flickering with coldness. Back then in the particle world, if it wasn't for Bai Wuya's timely arrival, his Dongshengshan Gate would have already annihilated the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate who came to the particle world. Qin Wenyin and the others had already arrived at the top of the ancient mountain. The interior of this ancient mountain was extremely mysterious, containing a marvelous aura. All of a sudden, a voice drifted into his ears like a bolt of lightning. He turned his gaze ahead only to see an illusory gigantic palm imprint abruptly materializing, slamming towards him. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation erupted forth as God's hand appeared, transforming into a terrifying palm that blasted out, colliding with the illusory gigantic palm imprint. The others all had their own reactions, but their reactions weren't as intense as Qin Wentian's. What mysteries does this ancient mountain contain exactly? Qin Wendian silently mused. He continued walking forward, staring at the space before him. The space before him seemed to interweave together, transforming into a divine light. Another voice rang out as a thunderous boom rang out. A terrifying bolt of lightning flashed in Qin Wentian's mind, This was none other than the power of the gigantic palm imprint. Rumble! Qin Wentian's body trembled violently as he groaned in misery. His countenance turned pale. This mysterious and unfathomable ancient mountain was simply terrifying. Namhuang Yunxi and Jun Mingchen also suffered attacks, but their attacks weren't as intense as Qin Wentian's. Although they felt uncomfortable, they could still endure it. There shouldn't be any problems for them to enter the ancient mountain. This was something the immortal emperors had tried many times before. Immortal Foundation characters were the most suitable candidates to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu followed behind Qin Wenyin and entered the ancient mountain. His eyes flickered with a terrifying light, containing a mysterious aura. Faint golden light radiated from him as a towering might gushed forth from his body. The white tiger-killing god howled in rage as it slashed out. Evidently, his eyes could see something that others couldn't. Truly strange. Even at the Immortal Foundation realm, I can see such a powerful aura. For immortal emperors, they could see through everything with a single glance the moment they entered the ancient mountain. Isn't this ancient emperor a little too shocking? Jiang Ziyu silently mused. He grew more vigilant and didn't dare to casually open his heavenly eye of the Buddhist path. Dong Shengting stared at the back view of Qin Wenyin. To him, the main purpose of entering the ancient mountain was to kill Qin Wenyin. As for the mysterious masked young man behind Dong Shengting, he had already closed his eyes and sealed his six senses. He didn't seem to be affected in the slightest. He didn't come here for the sake of God's hand. Although I suffered an attack, the formless attack penetrated into my mind, penetrating through my body. Before this, I seemed to have gained a trace of insight into God's hand. Nanfeng Shinga spoke in a light voice. It's just that I'm still far from comprehending God's hand. Most probably, to the vast majority of people, this would be a pointless risk. That's true. Qin Wendian nodded. Everyone be more careful. As they spoke, they continued deeper into the ancient mountain. Before them, there were still many experts who entered the ancient mountain. Their speed was extremely slow. Chapter 1064. As the experts ventured deeper, there were gradually some who couldn't endure it any longer, having no way to continue forward. This ancient mountain seemed boundlessly deep and mysterious. Occasionally, a mystical sound would ring out, resembling the sound of the great Tao, causing everyone to tremble as though they were struck by lightning. Yet, Qin Wenyin could feel a summoning force, urging him to continue advancing forward. The divine essence of God's hand seemed to be everywhere in this ancient mountain range. His gaze turned to a certain mountain. Instantly, Qin Wenyin had an illusion that there was a gigantic diagram engraved on the mountain. The terrifying diagram was in the shape of a human, and all of a sudden, a fearsome palm imprint blasted out. Qin Wentian's gaze penetrated through everything, wanting to see through the palm imprint and the diagram. Stepping out, he pushed his strength to the limit as his immortal foundation shone with the resplendent light. God's hand appeared and blasted out. Rumble! The space trembled as a mountain toppling and sea overturning energy blasted out in all directions, slamming into the mountain rampart. However, it had no effect at all. Qin Wentian's eyes were still staring ahead. That terrifying gaze of his seemed to be able to see through everything, wanting to see through the divine essence diagram. Another mysterious energy manifested in his body as boundless runes circulated frenziedly. Rumbling sounds reverberated through the air as numerous gigantic palm imprints blasted over, exuding an overwhelming killing intent. A demon sword appeared in Qin Wentian's hand, humming as demonic qi gushed forth, resembling a great rock spreading its wings. The glow of God's hand shone brilliantly as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With a slash of his sword, a towering great rock howled in rage, shattering the terrifying palm imprints unceasingly. Qin Wenyin slowly walked up the air, heading straight for the palm imprints. Within the ancient mountain, a formless energy akin to the ringing of a bell directly rang out in his mind. It was like a bolt of lightning, causing the diagram in his mind to grow even clearer. However, his actions didn't pause at all. The demon's sword danced about as numerous great rocks shattered the void, breaking apart everything. Finally, the divine essence gradually dimmed. However, Qin Wentian's eyes still gleamed with a resplendent divine light. Qin Wentian kept the demon's sword and turned his head back, only to see several experts attacking the ancient mountain. Evidently, he wasn't the only one who sensed the divine essence within. Shenga. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Nanfeng Shenga turned her gaze over only to see Kong Yi and Zhong Zhan appearing there. The person who spoke was none other than Kong Yi. He then spoke, Shenga, this ancient mountain contains the Tao of laws and can transform them into attacks. Do you want to come with us? No need, we have quite a lot of people. Nanfeng Shenga smiled and shook her head. Kong Yi glanced at Qin Wentian and the others from the Namhuang clan before nodding his head and didn't say anything. Let's continue on our way. Qin Wentian spoke when he saw everyone stopping. Other than the people from the Namhuang clan, the people brought by Emperor Qianbian and by Wuya were not far away from them. Behind them, Dongxing Heaven Emperor and Zidi's subordinates could be seen. Among them, Dongxing Ting and another young man were in the lead. This young man was none other than Zidi's nephew. His name was Zi Yunwu and his talent was extraordinary. Zidi regarded this nephew highly and imparted a secret art to him, causing Zi Yunwu to be extremely powerful. Dongxing Ting, Zi Yunwu and the others walked behind Qin Wentian. Their gazes were filled with coldness when they glanced at Qin Wentian. This caused Jiang Ziyu, who was not far away from them, to have a mysterious smile on his face. Seems like there would be a good show playing out in the ancient mountain. He only needed to wait and watch. Jiang Ziyu's gaze would occasionally turn to the young man with the bronze mask who was walking with his eyes closed. Black Hound followed behind him, traveling alone, with no companions. Sir, do you want to travel together? We can take care of each other during the journey. Jiang Ziyu spoke to the mysterious masked young man. No need. The other party merely replied. There were no fluctuations in his tone. Jiang Ziyu smiled, he didn't mind it at all. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had already passed since Qin Wentian and the others entered the ancient mountain. During these 3 days, the God Hand Mountain Manor was as calm as ever. Emperor Yu gave the order to prepare a grand banquet for everyone. This banquet lasted for several days and nights, and no matter who it was, they could all enter. Zidi, Dongxing Heaven Emperor and the others didn't leave. The various immortal emperors all sent their descendants to enter the ancient mountain. They naturally wanted to wait for the good news from them. Emperor Yu, is this ancient mountain truly left behind by ancient empery? Zidi turned his gaze to Emperor Yu as he asked. Naturally. Emperor Yu smiled and nodded. If not, why would an ancient mountain make you, Zidi, unable to enter even if you wanted to? What cultivation level did ancient Emperor Yi reach exactly back then? Zidi asked again. You should have heard of it before. Emperor Yu laughed. Only those characters who could unify the immortal realms were at that cultivation realm. Even if you are a peak stage immortal emperor, you wouldn't be able to withstand a single strike from ancient Emperor Yi. He could kill you with a single wave of his hand. A look of unhappiness appeared on Zidi's face. Even if he knew that Emperor Yu's words were true, he would step into that realm sooner or later. Emperor Yu, ancient Emperor Yi, left behind the divine essence of his ultimate art in the ancient mountain. This means that only those who enter the ancient mountain would be able to obtain the inheritance. For those who obtain the God's hand, it's useless even if we capture them. Seems like ancient Emperor Yi regarded this ultimate art with great importance and was afraid that the inheritor would meet with misfortune. Dongxing Heaven Emperor laughed. For an ultimate art like God's hand, other than some unique ones, which other ultimate art would be so easy to cultivate? Even for Zidi's ultimate Violet Saint immortal art, could it be that those who captured Zidi's inheritor would be able to cultivate it? If it's so simple, wouldn't Zidi's inheritor be in danger? For the descendants of the Jiang clan and Namhuang clan, which of them would dare to roam the immortal realms alone? Emperor Yu coldly laughed. Dongxing Heaven Emperor is speaking nonsense. Emperor Yu, seems like you have a lot of resentment. Dongxing Heaven Emperor smiled. From what I know, God's hand reappeared in the city of ancient emperors and was cultivated by a descendant. This time around, Emperor Yu inscribed the ultimate art here and opened the ancient mountain. Does this have anything to do with him? You want to ask if this ancient mountain was opened for a single person, right? Emperor Yu laughed. The complete secret art is right in front of everyone. You are an immortal emperor yet you still doubt it? How laughable. I'm just casually speaking, Emperor Yu. Please don't take offense. I naturally believe in Emperor Yu. If not, if it was really prepared for a single person, I'm afraid all our efforts would have been for naught. God's hand would vanish from the immortal realms once again. That would truly be a pity. Dongxing Heaven Emperor calmly spoke. The eyes of Nanfeng Guhong and Emperor Qinbian flashed when they heard this. The Emperor Qinbian calmly spoke, Eastern Sage, you are boasting shamelessly again. Boasting shamelessly? Dongxing Heaven Emperor drank a cup of wine and smiled. I wonder if you still have a strand of immortal sense on him. If you do, you would naturally be able to see him one last time before he dies. Sadly, the ancient mountain is capable of destroying all strands of immortal sense. I'm afraid you won't be able to save him. Eastern Sage, as an immortal emperor, you actually want to kill a young man who just stepped into immortal foundation. I truly feel ashamed for you. Emperor Qinbian coldly spoke. From Eastern Sage's tone, it seemed that he was extremely confident that he could kill Qin Wenyan. And as expected, he led the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate here, borrowing the opportunity of comprehending God's hand. He wanted to take Qin Wentian's life. Qin Wenyan and the others have already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Numerous towering peaks towered up into the sky. This mysterious ancient mountain seemed to have no end. During these days, Qin Wenyan and the others comprehended many different types of energy. The number of people here also decreased, but when they truly entered the depths of the ancient mountain, they discovered that the divine essence contained within was even more profound than before. Many people were no longer affected by the ancient mountain because they couldn't sense the existence of the divine essence. They would only feel their hearts trembling occasionally, as though there was a terrifying and mysterious energy hidden within the depths of the ancient mountain. At this moment, Qin Wenyan and the others arrived in front of a vast mountain rampart. There were mountain ramparts on 3 sides and there was a narrow passageway in front of them. But before that, Qin Wenyan stared at the mountain rampart in a daze. There was a diagram on the rampart, and there were ancient characters floating in the air, imprinting themselves into Qin Wentian's sea of consciousness. These ancient characters transformed into boundless energy that ravaged his body. Circulating his God's hand, the ancient characters grew clearer and clearer. His immortal foundation shone with a bright light as terrifying runic inscriptions radiated from him, unleashing a terrifying might. Boom, boom, boom. Qin Wenyan only felt his body enduring the intense attacks from the ancient characters. His bones emitted cracking sounds as his body trembled unceasingly. His countenance turned pale, and as he unleashed the power of God's hand, the attacks grew more and more intense, to the point where it felt like his body was about to be destroyed. If one wants to cultivate God's hand, it's impossible even if one's physique is extremely tyrannical. One has to have a perfect physique. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The people in the surroundings were all comprehending, and at this moment, Qin Wenyan felt a killing intent. He abruptly turned, and after that, he saw Dong Xingting and Ziyunwu leading their troops away, forming an encirclement around them. A cold light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Dong Xingting and the others had been following him all this while. How could Qin Wenyan not know what Dong Xingting wanted to do? It was just that he was waiting to see what capabilities Dong Xingting had exactly to act against him. There were many experts on both sides. Before the battle started, nobody knew what would happen. Now, even if you want to exit, it's already impossible. Dong Xingting coldly spoke, staring at Qin Wenyan and the others. Where does your confidence come from? Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with killing intent as well. How could he not want Dong Xingting to die? Dong Xingting turned his gaze to Namhuang Yunshi and the others. Everyone from the Namhuang clan, I don't wish to make things difficult for all of you. This is a grudge between us and Qin Wenyan. Everyone, please don't interfere and just stand aside and watch. Namhuang Yunshi stared at Dong Xingting. Qin Wentian's matters are my Namhuang clan's matters as well. If this is the case, I'm afraid we would offend the holy maiden. Dong Xingting coldly spoke. Beams of immortal light flashed as the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate took out their immortal weapons. Qin Wenyan, the experts from the Namhuang clan as well as the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate also took out their immortal weapons. There were experts from all levels of immortal foundation here. Once a chaotic battle broke out, it would be extremely dangerous. Dong Xingting waved his hand as a terrifying spinning disc appeared. This disc contained incomparably complicated runes. It was so deep that one couldn't see the bottom. Dong Xingting infused his immortal energy into it, and a moment later, the spinning disc radiated a terrifying devouring light that expanded unceasingly. The demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand hummed as though it was about to fly out of his hands. "Get over here!" Dong Xingting roared. The spinning disc in his hand expanded as beams of silvery light shot out, gushing towards his opponents. With a swishing sound, the immortal weapon in the hands of a female from the Namhuang clan flew out and was directly absorbed by the spinning disc. Chapter 1065. Devour Immortal Weapons. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. His demon sword directly slashed out as a beam of sword light tore through the air. Dong Xingting coldly snorted and stepped out. The light from the spinning wheel was still as bright as before. The energy slashed out by the demon sword was directly devoured by the spinning wheel. At the same time, a powerful suction force pulled the demon sword away. Qin Wentian's countenance changed as he spoke. "Keep your immortal weapons." As the sound of his voice faded, everyone kept their immortal weapons. The expressions of the experts from the Namhuang clan were all extremely unsightly to behold. As for the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate and Zidi, all of them had immortal weapons in their hands that could enhance their combat prowess. "Qin Wenyan, this ancient mountain shall be the place where you will die." Dong Xingting coldly spoke. The gigantic spinning wheel in front of him unceasingly radiated a terrifying suction force. The law energy contained within this powerful immortal weapon could easily envelop this entire space, preventing Qin Wenyan and the others from using immortal weapons. In fact, it could even devour the immortal energy attacking him. In this case, Dong Xingting and the others were basically in an invincible position. "You are truly well prepared. Seems like this immortal weapon that old dog Eastern Sage gave you is specially used to deal with me." Qin Wenyan stared at Dong Xingting as he spoke. The immortal weapon in his hand was able to absorb the immortal weapons of others. In that case, they would undoubtedly be at a disadvantage in this battle. Your life is already at its end, yet your mouth is still so shameless. In this ancient mountain, no one can save you. Dong Xingting coldly spoke. A moment later, his experts rushed towards Qin Wenyan. At the same time, Ziyunwu, the nephew of Zidi, also waved his hand as the experts from the various powers also rushed towards Qin Wenyan. Jiang Ziyu and the others from the Jiang clan watched from the back. Has the battle finally begun? Everyone, disperse. Qin Wenyan saw numerous immortal weapons radiating immortal might rushing over as he retreated. Everyone understood Qin Wentian's meaning. In such a situation, if they grouped together, they would undoubtedly become turtles trapped in a jar. The best method of combat was to expand the area of effect so that Dong Xingting's immortal weapons wouldn't be able to envelop all of them. "Kill Qin Wenyan." Dong Xingting coldly spoke. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic flying shuttle appeared beneath his feet, transforming into a whirlwind that revolved frenziedly as it flew towards Qin Wenyan. The experts beside him all boarded their flying shuttles as they sped towards Qin Wenyan. This caused Namhuang Yunshi's beautiful eyes to stiffen. There were many experts from the Dongshengshan Gate who had extremely high cultivation bases, far surpassing Qin Wenyan. In addition, they could even borrow the power of immortal ranked weapons to fight. If they only targeted Qin Wenyan, they would only be sending Qin Wenyan to his death. "Stop them." Namhuang Yunshi spoke. She once again sped towards Qin Wenyan. The battle suddenly erupted as immortal might filled the air, causing a terrifying tempest to arise in this space. The experts from the Namhuang clan didn't even have time to disperse. They instantly gathered together and blasted out with their immortal might. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth as they blasted out with their palms. Shadow after shadow of phoenixes swept through the area, causing the sky to turn red as terrifying flames burned the entire space. Qin Wendian, leave. Namhuang Yunshi spoke to Qin Wendian. The person Dong Xingting and his group wanted to kill the most was Qin Wendian. They didn't have any killing intent towards the Namhuang clan and didn't dare to act ruthlessly. Qin Wendian's countenance flickered with an intense coldness. Dong Xingting waited until he entered the depths of the ancient mountain before acting. Clearly, Dong Xingting wanted to sever his path of retreat and wanted to kill him no matter what. However, he allowed Dong Xingting to follow him because he also had the same thoughts in his heart. Rumble, a terrifying sound rang out. The experts around Dong Xingting unleashed their attacks, shattering the shadow of the phoenixes unleashed by the Namhuang clan. The experts from the Namhuang clan all retreated, evidently they were at a disadvantage. But at this moment, Dong Xingting suddenly felt an intense sense of danger. A beam of sword light flashed in front of him and Dong Xingting's countenance drastically changed. He hurriedly lifted the spinning wheel to block the attack. The sword light slashed apart the air as one of the experts beside Dong Xingting screamed in agony. His face was directly severed as fresh blood splattered through the air. Their attacks slowed down as Dong Xingting stopped. The experts around him instantly moved to his side to protect him. Chi! Another beam of sword chi slammed down. This time, it was a golden beam of sword light that didn't cause any terrifying commotion. However, this beam of sword chi seemed to descend from the void and was tyrannical to the extreme. When it slashed over, the space around it was about to be severed apart. An expert beside Dong Xingting lifted an immortal-ranked shield and placed it in front of Dong Xingting, blocking all the attacks. After that, a thunderous boom rang out, like a bolt of lightning smashing into the ground. The powerful impact forced them all to retreat. Only now did everyone clearly see that the attacker was a young man who didn't seem very old. His immortal foundation might gushed forth as his entire body was enveloped by a screen of light. Terrifying sword might circulated around him, exuding boundless might. Someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate. The eyes of the experts beside Dong Xingting turned cold. Wasn't the combat prowess of this young man a little too tyrannical? He was actually able to unleash an illusory sword attack. After this person acted, the pressure on Qin Wenyan and the experts from the Namhuang clan instantly lessened by a great deal. Other than the strength of the attacker, the other reason was because he chose the right time to attack as well as the person he attacked. The others had no choice but to protect Dong Xingting. If they wanted to kill Qin Wenyan, he would attack Dong Xingting. Qin Wendian glanced at the attacker. This was the first time he saw this person, but he knew that this person would definitely play a crucial role. Because this person was one of the two disciples from the heavenly talisman realm brought here by Wia. In addition, both of them were experts at the peak level of Immortal Foundation. Send a few people to deal with him. Dong Xingting glanced at the disciples from the heavenly talisman realm as he coldly spoke. The experts beside him exchanged glances, and a few moments later, a few high-leveled Immortal Foundation experts brought their immortal-ranked weapons and walked towards that person. Although it was very difficult for this person to change the overall situation, the threat of his attacks was too great. He could easily pose a fatal threat to Dong Xingting. Even if they couldn't kill him, they had to trap him. Are you able to kill Dong Xingting? At this moment, a voice drifted into Qin Wendian's ears. It was none other than a disciple from the heavenly talisman realm who transmitted his voice to him. If no one else interferes, there won't be a problem. Qin Wendian replied. Okay, it's not convenient for us to split up. We will work together with the Namhuang clan to delay this group of people. You leave this place and lure Dong Xingting into pursuing you. That person spoke again. Qin Wendian's eyes flashed. This idea was feasible, but it wouldn't be so easy to execute it. However, if he could really lure Dong Xingting away, The people on his side would be able to use their immortal ranked weapons. It shouldn't be a problem for them to delay the battle. Go! That person spoke. Qin Wenyan abruptly turned and sped towards the canyon behind him. A pair of great rock wings appeared behind his back as he moved with lightning speed. Where do you think you can escape to? Dong Xingting, Ziyunwu, and a disciple of the Xian Emperor saw that Qin Wenyan wanted to flee. How could they let him go? They rushed out at the same time, chasing after Qin Wenyan. Numerous attacks blasted out, cleaving open a path for him. Stop them! Nam Huang Yunshi commanded. The experts of the Nam Huang clan rushed over, causing Dong Xingting and the others to split up to deal with the experts from the Nam Huang clan. However, there were still over 10 experts who slaughtered their way out, disregarding everything else as they sped towards the direction where Qin Wenyan was fleeing. Nam Huang Yunshi's eyes flashed. She controlled the Phoenix boat and brought several experts with her as they sped towards Qin Wenyan. Dong Xingting and the others coldly snorted. The flying shuttle spun madly, slicing through the air as it sped towards the canyon ahead. But at this moment, an expert suddenly appeared. It was none other than the other expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm, Wu Xiu. He had a mountain in his hand and abruptly smashed it downwards, wanting to seal this entire space. An expert beside Dong Xingting blasted out in rage. In an instant, tens of thousands of fist lights manifested, wanting to destroy everything. The mountain peak crumbled, transforming into countless rocks. But at this moment, a powerful gravity field suddenly manifested. Dong Xingting and Ziyunwu only felt as though a gigantic mountain range was pressing down on them, making it extremely difficult for them to withstand the pressure. Boom! The expert in front stomped down as the might of his immortal foundation erupted forth. Dong Xingting's body directly fell from the air as he howled in pain. Go kill him! Dong Xingting commanded. The two of you go. Ziyunwu also spoke. After which, several experts rushed towards the expert in front, surrounding the Heavenly Talisman realm. Dong Xingting and Ziyunwu continued flying up into the air. Come down! The expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm glowed with a translucent light, as though he was clad in an indestructible armor. His palms grabbed out in the air as a formless palm imprint containing a terrifying gravitational force manifested. Dong Xingting had no way to escape from the gravity field even with his flying shuttle. Go down and kill him! Dong Xingting roared in rage. His gaze stared ahead. Qin Wenyan and Nam Huang Yunshi had already fled far away. Young Master Ting. The eyes of the guard beside him flickered. Don't worry, there are only 2 of them in front. The few of us are enough to deal with them. Dong Xingting roared as he was pulled down. Quick! The guard beside him flew down as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. The expert below roared in rage, resembling a primordial giant. At this moment, Dong Xingting and Ziyunwu rushed out of the gravity field and soared ahead. However, the other experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm were all enveloped by a terrifying might. Their eyes flashed with coldness as they slaughtered their way towards the expert below. On the main battlefield, Jiang Ziyu stared at the experts fighting as he coldly laughed in his heart. The experts from the Dongshengshan Gate didn't show any mercy when fighting against the experts from the immortal Qiandian Gate. However, they didn't dare to go all out against the experts from the Namhuang clan because the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't afford to antagonize the Namhuang clan. Now that Dong Xingting has left, the experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm would only be delayed. His gaze turned to the horizons as his terrifying eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. He then spoke in a low voice, Dong Xingting is finished. Dong Xingting should have the advantage, right? A person beside Jiang Ziyu spoke. That expert from the immortal Qianbian Gate in the canyon is much stronger compared to the one who used the Void Sword technique earlier. He should be able to delay Dong Xingting for a little longer, but he didn't, allowing Dong Xingting to chase after Qin Wenyan. I'm sure Qin Wenyan would have a way to kill Dong Xingting. Jiang Ziyu laughed, as though he had a very high opinion of Qin Wenyan. His gaze abruptly shifted, only to see that there was no one beside him. His brows twitched, that black-robed expert with the bronze mask actually silently left during the battle. How interesting. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.